Ain't no luck finding real love. I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Collegiate Rainbow Six Summer League Round 17. That's right, kind of like yesterday where we went 16 rounds into the series so far. We're up to number 17 so far. My name is Keglanek, and with me tonight is the wonderful and beautiful DJ Dextros, coming back once again for some awesome Siege action.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for this second setup of the round 16, we have Cal Esports versus San Diego. I was mistaken before the break. I called them South Dakota, and I do apologize for that. But we have a wonderful matchup. We have 3 maps to see here tonight. Cal is going to have picked Oregon with San Diego on the defense. We have San Diego picking Clubhouse with Cal on the defense to start out. And then as the decider, we're going to have Cafe if we even get to map 3. So right now, we're just waiting for the players to get ready up, but we do have our new face of Keg with us here tonight, replacing Snail. Keg, it's wonderful to have you here. Are you ready for this matchup between these two teams?
Well, I wish I could say I had a face DJ, but it looks like I'm just an operator icon right now. But here's the thing, though. I'm the best operator in the game.
Oh, don't get me started on this. But focusing more on the map picks that we see, Oregon, what are your thoughts on it? It's been reworked once. Personally, I don't enjoy playing it after the rework. I know that the comp scene seems to love it, but it's just not my cup of tea. I don't understand why teams seem to love New Oregon so much.
Well, you got to understand how the development, I think, of Rainbow Six has gone around since its inception. When Rainbow Six first came out, a lot of the maps were really close-knit, tight quarters, because that's how the game was revolved around. There was more gunplay involved, less utility, less gadgets to worry about. But as the game evolved, maps like that just don't work as well anymore. So with, reworks like sort of Clubhouse, it's on the border of it, Cafe, and Oregon, it's expanded a lot more. There's more ways to maneuver yourself around the bomb site. I totally get where you're coming from. It's hard to adjust into it, but I really do think Oregon's new rework is for the positive. And we've seen a lot of crazy action. Before the rework, we had a lot of, frankly, really stale plays. It was the same thing over and over again for years on end. In fact, I would venture a guess and say once Mira came out, there were no new strategies to really come out of old Oregon. But with the new one, we're seeing a whole plethora of different things for just about every site.
Yeah, and speaking of a whole new plethora of new things, the players are ready to show us what they have on their mind. So let's go ahead and get this match underway without further ado. Cal versus San Diego, map 1 here on Oregon.
Ooh, I'm excited to see how these operator bans are going to go down. With Oregon, it's kind of like the same area as Cafe in Clubhouse, where you're going to have either extremely standard vanilla bans, or you're going to have a little bit 50-50. You're going to have some of your casual bans, as usual, like the Thatcher pick, which, no, it will be the IQ. So going into my second point, you're going to see some wild bans sometimes. Normally it's around the Cali pick, but this time it's going to be IQ and DJ. I think just like Thatcher and all these people in chat, probably going to be Thatcher going down.
I actually think we're going to see something different here tonight. I think we'll probably see maybe the Cali instead to allow Thatcher a little bit of time to have his day in the sun, have one map for him to utilize.
No, he deserves to be in the darkness. He's too overpowered for the game now. And here we go. It's taking a little while, but it's actually going to end up being Thatcher once more. Well, he's going to join the void like the rest of the people that were Battle Eye removed, thankfully. But hey, good riddance. No one misses you. But now we're going to the defender bans, and I'm really curious to see how these two are going to go down, because we're probably going to see your standard Echo ban, of course, but this last defender ban, DJ, could be an absolute wild card, more so than the IQ pick.
Indeed. And we are going to go ahead and install these game audio issues before the round starts. So as these operator bans are finishing up, we're going to see that Clash is going to be the last one taken off the board now. So we have IQ, Thatcher, Echo and Clash, Mira still on the board, and like you were saying earlier, Mira changed everything earlier on. So is that going to change something here on this map today?
I mean, Mirror does change a lot of things when it comes to in play on a site. Mirror, of course, has evolved over time to not necessarily being played on site all the time. Now, when I say that's mostly for Villa, when it comes down to Oregon, it's really hasn't changed in strategy too much since her inception on the old Oregon, but we might see some freezer play. But overall, I don't really think we're going to see Mirror too much, and it looks like we're not going to be seeing her in round one either. Instead, we're going to be seeing pretty much your new standard format of the Wamai, the Bandit, I believe the Doc and the Valkyrie going down as well. So it's your pretty standard team comp for Laundry site, and really there's no reason to stray away from that. Actually, I believe it's kids as well. There's not really much of a deviation between the two sites in terms of operator picks. Now, it looks like we're in the game already. It's going to be kids coming out this time around. And like I said before, really the big difference here between what you see in most defending compositions is going to be Cashman on that pulse. Now, normally we would see maybe a Maestro or perhaps even another anchor like a Smoke, but instead we do have the pulse, and it's not a bad pick by any means. Playing from below, you could have Cashman with that C4 just able to destroy anyone that dares to go on A or B site, or even from master bedroom. Now, here's the major thing, though, is that even without the C4 play, that cardiac sensor can give so much intel for that attic push as well.
Indeed, and
Now,
without the prep phase is going to expire. Still working through these technical difficulties, so I do apologize. But we're going to give you the radio style play-by-play with Keg taking the lead as I try to help sort this out.
absolutely. Technical difficulties is my middle name. My parents had a lot of good foresight when I was born. But 239 right now, we are going to see that attic push come into fruition. Now, with the Thatcher being banned, typically we do see the Cali come in pretty much just Oregon only, or at least as a mainstay for the replacement. Now, mostly it depends on the site, but there's usually generally at least one area per site on Oregon where the Cali is extremely viable. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, the sniper bolt, that's not going to do a whole lot. There's not a lot of far angles other than maybe, let's say, the big window or say attic wall, but the lances and the SPS make a deadly composition inside that attic push. But it looks like we're not really having any of the defenders playing inside attic. It's mostly going to be holding on to the bomb sites pretty close to the chest, having those cards super close. Now, with 152 left, time is going down, but it's going to be that MPX taking down Aquatic Lettuce first. Now, Aquatic Lettuce is probably one of the best names I've heard in a long time. Definitely not as good as Romaine Lettuce, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. That's gonna be the attic wall opening up. Not a single defender watching it whatsoever. No Auric in play, so that hatch has no real reason to be opened or reinforced, I suppose. And it's just gonna be easy access for that Thermite. Just walking on in, exploring a little bit, deciding to back out. Now, Shade wants to hold on to this now. I'm not sure if there's any Wamai discs in play, but any sort of projectile, if there isn't, will be the doom of that Valkyrie. But we're gonna have to wait a little bit to see if that goes down. Lances are gonna come out for master bedroom wall, and that is gonna be possibly easy access onto A site or close to A site. But no, in fact, it's gonna be Cashman down from below, getting that C4 kill onto the Cali. Fantastic work. Doing exactly what I think the defenders were hoping. That's gonna be your soft breach main and your Thatcher replacement completely gone. And now you can see the gears turning around a little bit inside this Thermite's head. He's going to back down from main stairs. He's trying to figure out what he wants to do. And with that being said, Shady taking down another defender. And wow, SDSU winning with a pretty large margin, taking round one without really too much difficulty whatsoever. But fantastic work overall. Killer Rhino getting that final kill. Yeah, so once that sledge went down, it was sort of a snowball effect, but it really only became an avalanche once that C4 came out and connected against the Cali. Once Brandon went down, it was pretty much easy peasy lemon squeezy for the defenders because there was no real way of contesting the site. You could have pushed up white stairs, you could have pushed up main stairs, but either way, close quarters combat is exactly what Oregon was remade to go against, and those two small pushes are going to hurt it completely.
Indeed, first round going into the hands of Oh god, names are escaping me already coming out of these.
SDSU.
SDU, thank you. San Diego taking the first round right now, and we gotta see if Cal is gonna be able to swing back on the attacking side. New Oregon seeming to be in the hands of the defenders right now as we go into round 2, down in Laundry.
Yeah, the laundry side's going to be interesting. You definitely want to, I mean, it's not really straying too much away from the orthodox plays of Oregon on the defense. Typically see kids first, then you go to laundry, and if you happen to win both, hey, congratulations, you get to move on to mining and, no, I'm sorry, that's a different site, meeting and kitchen, which is pretty much the same as mining and dining. It's the same kind of tertiary site, similar holds, similar attacks overall, but completely different maps. Now, interesting to note is that we're not seeing the smoke from the Zoyo play coming out from SDSU. In fact, that tarp wall for blue is actually going to be completely reinforced right off the bat. But they are employing the mirror like you had predicted, DJ.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Yeah, mirror is going to be something that could change the round on its head, and
Attackers
that
must
could
locate and
provide
defuse a
exactly
bomb.
what they need along with this. But you know, it's just a matter of time, because what the thing that changes with this rework is that Mira has a little bit of a harder time holding that laundry site all by herself. You know, it's going to be hard for her to hold on, especially with the pushing in from the tower, which might provide a little bit of damage. So that soft breach might work against the Mira, but being strong for the time being.
Yeah, this is a very nostalgic Mira hold right now. Typically never would have seen it going towards construction, but the similar premise is there from the old day laundry hold. All things considered right now, it's definitely something we haven't seen in a while. The Lance is going to connect against the Wamai shield, and that's a really good luck. That's kind of a waste, all things considered, because there's nothing behind this mirror wall. It's going to be Shocks taking down Cashman. That's going to be the Wamai completely gone, but he's done his job. The distance are down, but Shocks gets the double kill on the Jamin as well. That's going to be your mirror gone, and the crux of your anchor is now completely gone. Now, looks like we do have a little bit more sound difficulties, and we do apologize, but hey, you don't need to worry about sound when you have people casting. That's going to be Aquatic Lettuce taking down Rhino as well. You're down to your last two and make that one roamer. A 5v1 situation's not the place that the Vigil wants to be in. He's trapped inside Freezer right now. He needs to push up, but he's walking into a death trap right now, and it looks like he's going to stain the Freezer like a meat target, and that's going to be California's first win, or Calorie's first win.
Yeah, indeed, Cal is going to go ahead and tie it up already here in the second round, not letting San Diego get too far ahead of them. And we're going to take it back to laundry as San Diego tries to find the supply that they need to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, and as we had mentioned before, usually winning kids in laundry in tandem is a really good sign for the defense, and then they would be moving on to the tertiary side, but no, instead we will be going back to laundry again with seemingly no defensive changes going out on SDSU's side. Now, I'm not really sure how I feel about that, DJ. I really think maybe going away from the Mira and not having that be centralized as your main defensive pillar would probably be a good idea. I think they're relying too much on that mirror hold and such a linear attack that simply happens to an extent, but from a different direction.
Yeah, they definitely need to work on utilizing that mirror properly, especially if they can add on a few C4s to put some more explosive power into stopping that plane to work on that. But, you know, it's just something that they need to put on their mind right now. They got to come back from the lost exit that they just had in round 2 against Cal. Are they going to lose it yet again against them? Is this mirror going to be more of a hindrance than a help? Because she's commonly banned. Most teams are actually in practice without a mirror or an echo. So when they are unbanned, they can tend to restrict the team in what they're usually used to playing.
Absolutely, and I think that Mira right now, I mean, honestly, we're going to have to see how this round goes, usually turns into being a hindrance more often than not, but we do see the same black mirror setup once again. I'm not sure where the other one is. Last time we did see it on Freezer Wall, and it looks like it's being employed as we speak. Okay, you know what, it worked out decently last time. Unfortunately, the mirror did go down immediately because blue stairs weren't really being watched too well. But hey, not really much of a defensive, attacking difference this time around either. We do see the Twitch come out, which I don't believe we had seen before, but with the Mute and the Vigil in play, that's going to be really risky for that utility.
Indeed, Vigil trying to creep around. The drone work's coming in, but he's not activating his gadget just yet. That would give away his position. We are going to see off screen, however, one of his comrades, Cashman, on the Jaeger fall. But Vigil trying to finds the diffuser and the hard breach. Sophia, however, tagging Dark Eagle down as well. That's 2 down for the Benders, only getting 1 on the attack. And now becomes a question of, will Vigil be able to hold this diffuser all by his lonesome?
That's a very good question. I mean, Vigil, of all the operators on the board, has the best chance of holding this diffuser. Shock's right now playing the elevated game, or I suppose the antithesis of being elevated, trying to make his way up a literal mountain to get back that diffuser, but he succeeds in doing so. It's gonna be Shady, who does not want to challenge it, deciding to go back to a much more safer position, waiting for potentially the drop to go down Freezer. But the attack is coming from a different position right now. It's actually going to be going from blue stairs once more. Jamin all by themselves, not looking at the direction of where these attackers are going 2 rounds in a row. Not really sure what the plan is right there, and if Shucks makes one wrong move, it could change the round completely. Keep in mind, he does have the diffuser, and if he takes down Jamin, that's going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy, but instead it's going to be Killer Rhino, who finds Ral, and that's going to be one of your split pushes completely decimated.
That ties it all up in terms of manpower. Callie trying to find someone with her secondary final. We see 1 prone inside of Freezer as Sophia is going to take 1 off screen, and 2 as Aqua Lettuce on the sledge going to connect with the SMG-11. Plants is now going inside B right now, mute with the SMG-11, trying to ring out the C4 going out, not going to go off in time and too far away, taking off Callie for a double kill on himself, but still 2 more attackers to deal with, and both of them have wonderful ARs, unlike Callie's SMG.
I'm no explosivologist, but I really thought that C4 was supposed to connect and take down the diffuser at the last second. That would have been game-changing right there. Unfortunately, doesn't work out that way. It's going to be Calorie once again, taking 2 rounds in a row on the Laundry. It seems like it's not going to be SDSU's side, unfortunately. They've lost 2 in a row, and unfortunately, they've not been able to adapt around the same exact push twice in a row.
Yeah, so the question is, are they going to go back downstairs, or are they going to bring it back upstairs so they can have a little bit more luck? We are going back up to the dorm site, 2nd floor, the only 2nd floor site here on Oregon, I might add. But are they going to have the luck that they had back in round 1? They have the detriment mentally of having 2 rounds lost against Cal right now. Are we going to see Cal be able to carry that momentum and apply it to the site?
The ball is definitely rolling in Calorie's favor right now, but this is the safety site for SDSU as well. Unfortunately, we're not seeing the pulse this time. I think that's really something interesting to take note of. Instead, we do have Cashman, who was once the pulse that got the amazing C4 kill on the dock, but we do see the 6th pick, and we're going back to our main man, Pulse. There we go. No changes really from anyone on either team, and that might be for the best in SDSU's favor to really bring this tie
Defenders,
back.
protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, you know, the defender's just trying to find a pulse on what kind of punch they want to have. They're trying to connect with the Cashman himself, trying to see what they can do to stop the ball from rolling and pushing them in its path. I think we're going to see this get tied up to 2. You know, they had a strong round 1 on this, you know, although Stream did miss about half of it. We are going to get to see what round 1 was, I believe, for San Diego.
Absolutely. Well, to recap pretty much what happened in the very first round was that unfortunately the sledge was taken down super early on before he could utilize his utility or really even get onto the site itself. But it was the Cali going inside master bedroom all by themselves, hitting C4 from below like Cashman on the pulse. That really changed the game into SDSU's favor. With no way of really opening up anything besides attic wall, completely afraid to push it, it was Calorie who was unable to make that final push, barely able to get onto the bomb site at all, being taken down relatively early on.
And it looks like Callie isn't going to be winning the push too quickly or too aggressively, knowing that the C4 stung her quite deeply last round. We're going to see Sophia instead tempting the White Stairs hold as the Black Eye is going to be eliminated. The intel taken off the board for Shady, going to rotate back towards side, and we have everyone except for Cashman lurking on side. Cashman lurking over towards Tall Towers, and Callie just looking back and forth for some sort of roamer to take a pot shot at.
Yeah, really this round on the defensive side is going to come down to what Cashman wants to do first. The Thermite and the Cali going inside of Big Tower. This is where the power play is going to come out on Calorie's side. Ral is holding the top of the tower, but it's going to be Cashman who finds Aquatic Lettuce. Twice in a row now on kids that we see Aquatic Lettuce trying to make this underground push in basement and get murdered instantly. But the tower push continues, and it's going to be the Lance eventually coming down to open up. Interestingly, no bandit. It's going to be the mute charge on attic wall, allowing the thermite exothermic to open up and have about halfway through the round to be completely a frenzy for opening the site.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm actually quite surprised that they don't bring something like a Kaid. You put the Kaid perhaps below the wall where the Cali Lance can't get it. You have the pulse play below. It provides a much stronger hold defensively on denying that attic from being opened. But, of course, that runs the risk of pulse being found out early. And, you know, drone work and intel could provide very easily that the attackers are able to do that. But talking more on this round, we are seeing the attackers set up to push into kids' dorms very rapidly. See one attacker on rappel near Valkyrie, and Pulse is going to be lurking down low to perhaps use a C4 in the late game to deny the plant.
Now, by this time last round, we had seen Catchman use the C4 already, but it looks like through on top next to the teddy bear. It's going to be Shady taking down Rel. There goes your intel for the round. You're down to your bare essentials for the remainder of the round on Cavalry's side, but no, it doesn't end there. It's going to be Geo Theo barely scraping away with his light, taking down Killer Rhino. But will it be enough? The answer is currently unknown. It's a back and forth between the teams. SDSU currently has the advantage, but they are not able to get onto either bomb site. C4s go down, but Catchman's gonna miss, unfortunately. 20 seconds left, and this is the opportunity for the attackers to make their move. The diffuser's in the dying Thermite's hands. At any moment, he could go down to 2v3. Now it's a 1v3. It's gonna be Geo Theo trying to make something happen out of seemingly nothing. The plant goes down, but it's too little too late. It's gonna be SDSU taking round number 4 into what you predicted, DJ, a 2-2 tie.
Yeah, we saw this in the first set between the wonderful teams of, if my memory even talk to me, I don't even remember the team names. I don't know what I'm saying, but we see the CR6 teams here tonight tying up 2-2 over and over. This is the third map in the row for stream tonight where this happens. You know, no one's gaining an advantage early. We see it in the late half of the first round that someone will usually be up 4-2, and that was UTSA who had the advantage against their opponent last set. Who do you think might be able to pull out that 4-2 advantage here tonight in this first map, Mr.
You know, DJ, you did mention it. I think it's too early to tell. Now, keep in mind how SDSU did not choose to go on the laundry. They have lost it twice in a row now, and they want to go and try kitchen and dining instead. They haven't tried kitchen and dining. We haven't seen it yet. What it really comes down to for this 4-2 split is how the defenders play, or how both teams play for and against this bomb site. If the attackers can steamroll it over, we're going to see 4-2 in the attackers' favor. But if SDSU can hold on to it just for a little bit longer, they can bounce back and forth between kids and dining, with maybe one loss in laundry in between.
Yeah, honestly, I really love to see that they're going towards their site. You know, the dining room site, or actually the kitchen set of sites, tend to be kind of the pair that's a little bit less loved. You know, people will tend to try to stick towards the laundry and the dorm sites before anything. But going here, they recognize that the two laundry holds that they had, it wasn't really for them. You know, they lost both of them against Calorie. That's the only 2 rounds that they put on the board so far. So they have to change it up, and they have a strategy here to boot, bringing in the Casa, bringing the double ADS with Wamai and Jaeger on the board, the hard breach counter of Mute, and then the rumor of Vigil. Lovely to try to counter the default attackers that Cal seems to be bringing to the board.
Yeah, this is a disgusting team comp coming out from SDSU's side, but in a good way. It's a good kind of disgusting. And I mean, I don't blame them either. There's no reason not to bring any of these specific operators onto the site. It's going to be Jam and trying to find those pop shots early on to the attackers. And Battle Eye is having a field day tonight. Whew! Good lord.
Yeah, and speaking of having a field day, Callie's going to try to put some... Oh no, field day is actually going to go to Mute instead. Take out Aqua Lettuce with the C4. That's going to be your sledge off the board yet again. Early on, 3 rounds out of the 5 rounds we've had so far. Callie looking to make up for this, trying to find someone along with Sophia watching her cover, but she's going to rotate out instead to allow Thermite and Twitch to provide more of a suppressing fire rate than Nomad.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Cashman taking down Brenda. That's going to be your Callie off the board and your sledge as well. That's a similar story that we've seen before, and that story is typically called Kids Dorms. Now, we've seen these two go down plenty of times before. We did see the Cali survive a little bit longer in the second Kids Dorms round, but unfortunately, it was just not enough in the
Attackers
second
recovered
one.
the diffuser.
Raul looking for those
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
refrags once again through the window, not going to find it. It's going to be a split push coming from small tower and from the side windows as well. No connections from these bullets going down, and it's looking like it might become what we don't normally see too much anymore, possibly a smoke plant onto dining room. But too little, too late so far. It's going to be a bit of a back and forth, a bit of a stall, if you will, DJ. Looking to see who will get the next kill. But the DB&O coming down from Jamin, connecting to the GLCO. Gio already did his job. That exothermic is long gone, but the refrag coming down from Raul is going to be the revive connecting into it. This could go either way.
Yes, but we do have that Vigil lurking at the bottom right stairs. Surely the call is coming out. There's at least someone lit on the outside of that hole. He's not going to swing just yet. Has the secondary out, and I love that these defenders are playing very cautious. Thermite's just bleeding out right now as his teammates not going to be able to res just yet. No, the res is going off around the corner. Managed to crawl away just in time, but now we're getting close to 30 seconds. Sophia very lit, however, and all the defenders are at full health, except for you taking a little bit of damage. Now Sophia finally connecting to take out Shady, and Vigil can no longer remain vigilant on the sneaker.
Oh, I see what you did there, you sneaky you. But 2v2 right now, or 2 points across the board on both teams. 15 seconds left. That diffuser goes down. It's going to be a 2v2. So many twos across the board. It is like super deja vu. Super knock on wood, but not so much anymore. Raul goes down. It's going to be Dark Eagle and Cashman teaming up to figure out where Shox is. Now, keep in mind, a single breeze will take him down. Barely clinging on the life, listening to that sound cue, but from behind, it's going to be the Dark Eagle swooping down and taking Shucks away to the ethereal plane, and it's going to be 3 rounds in for SDSU and having the 1-point lead. And with one more round in this first half, there's going to be a huge hill to climb for Calorie in order to bring it to a 3-3 even split going into the second half. If not, we're going to see that 4-2.
Yeah, indeed. Already it looks like San Diego might be able to pull it off with the 4-2 split that we've been seeing going into half all night, but we aren't going to see Cal go quietly into that night. We are going back to laundry because upstairs is locked, dining is locked, and the split between dining and main hall is not going to be one that you typically want to take as a team and prepared for it extensively. They're going to opt to go for laundry, which certainly will get Cal excited as soon as they feast their little drone eyes on it. They've won it twice. Can they win it a third time to put away the charm?
I mean, if you're SDSU right now, you hopefully figured out what you did wrong those last 2 rounds. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, DJ, but I don't believe we had the castle the last time we saw laundry. I could be mistaken, but I believe it was the Vigil pick instead.
I believe you might be right. I don't think we saw castle downstairs.
Yeah.
Looking at this, we did not. You're correct. It was a Vigil that Shady was running, at least for the round 2, looking at my notes.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see how the castle paradigm with the Mira is going to affect the dynamic of laundry. Now, castle we don't typically see too often when it comes to laundry. It can be a great staller. We'll probably see it on the upper floors more so than anything, maybe towards the freezer or so. To be more specific, the western side of the map. But we haven't really seen freezer pushes, either from Cavalry. It's been mostly playing from pillars and mostly from construction. We've had a little bit of action maybe from freezer, but not really a whole lot. It's been mostly on the defensive side, where say that Vigil, which was Shady before, normally plays.
10 seconds
But
remaining.
maybe putting those castle walls to put some more mind on SDSU, and we'll
5
have much
seconds to
more
go.
closer to the site plays. I believe the mirror walls have changed a little bit as well. I could be mistaken, but I believe that one next to pillars wasn't there before. In fact, no, it wasn't. It was on freezer wall, which they had realized was never used.
Yeah, so they're trying to adapt some of their utility, getting rid of the roam game and bringing on the castle to try to slow down the attackers. So the wonderful little change. Hopefully they can put into paper with that. And the mirror change in the setup, all I gotta hope is that there's no main sign push, because if there is, that's gonna leave you looking away with those mirrors.
Oh man, and really unfortunate timing. You put all these resources into freezer for so many laundry rounds, and the one round you don't, it's going to be Shox pushing in hyper aggressively. Now, of course, the angles are being held, looking around, not finding a whole lot immediately, but it's going to be opening pop shots going down. Shox still able to keep their life and allowing the attackers to have a little bit more free range, diverting the attention away onto the Ash, holding holding the freezer lonesome. It's going to be Cashman, though, who still finds Aquatic Lettuce. That is going to be 3 out of, I believe, maybe even 4 rounds in a row of opening shots. But a sledge for Amira isn't too terrible. You lose the crux of your round once again, your best anchor. And now you're just down to the roamers.
Indeed, Mira's gone. Awful Lettuce yet again gone very early in the round, but the power charge is now going off to get rid of those mute jammers and allow them to open on up. We do see if they're sitting on the other side, Shady rocking that castle, and now the Thermite Breach is open. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place as the attackers rotate around to put the sideline under that. And indeed, he's going to be shot in the back. Thermite taking no hesitation to take it out. Theo getting one more kill to his name, and now it's going to become pressure time as Bomb B falls into the hands of the attackers.
Pressure is going on right now. Let's see. Pop shots going back and forth. Roxina Dark Eagle into a double kill. Taking down Killer Rhino in the process. And you're down to just one. Cashman used to being the last one left alive. He's going to be finding one. He finds Rao, but can he find the second? The answer is going to be no once more. Cal bring it to an even 3-3 going into the second half. Not really what we predicted, DJ, but still really good for both teams going into that second half. Now, we could very well see overtime at this rate if the momentum for both teams continue. It's a struggle right now going back and forth. No team has been able to win 3 rounds in a row. We've just seen a back and forth of either 2-round streaks or singular round streaks going back to back.
Yeah, quite indeed. And I find it so ironic that we see the defending team, we see San Diego change up their strategy on the last round, trying to change laundry for the better for themselves. And then we see Cal change their strategy as well. You know, the freezer push wasn't typically there, but they put the Ash there hyper aggressively, as you stated, right as the utility rotated away for it for that round. Just the time is perfect. They're reading each other, they're adapting, they're changing their strategies, and it's a back and forth, neck and neck. I believe we are going to see overtime here on this first map.
Well, speaking of reading, one of these teams will have to turn into the Library of Alexandria and burn down completely towards the end of this round, or to the end of this match. Only one can survive, only one can move on to beyond this set, but we will be seeing map 2 regardless. So maybe not so much about burn down immediately, just a small singe to light the torch of what could happen to the next 2 maps moving forwards. But even then, it's going to be going to kids once more, the typical first bomb site that we see.
Yep, and we're seeing a lot of the same operators that we saw San Diego bring on their see an anti-breach. Bandit instead of mute this time. We're also seeing the Lion, the Smoke Pump, where a lot of utility for them to place, a lot of utility for them to counter. IQ being off the board means that Bandit is going to be able to set those charges a lot more confidently.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm curious though, we do have the Womai, we do have the Jaeger. Bandit, of course, as well, this time going to be holding on to those attic walls and seemingly master bedroom as well. But the main difference here, of course, on the defensive side is going to be the smoke pit. And we do have Jackal from Cashman, which is an interesting turn of events concerning where his role was on the defense. But he's kind of playing the polar opposite of what he himself would be going against on his defensive line, looking for those roamers instead of being the roamer himself. He is, by the definition, his very own worst enemy.
Indeed, knowing what a good roamer can do, Cashman is looking to provide that in the form of Jackal, countering that against Cal's strong roam game as well. We are going to see only one really roaming off site, downstairs and below, and it's only time will tell if those Jackal pinks are going to be worth
Something to keep in mind is that there is no Cali on the board. No way of removing those bandit charges too effectively without using the Zofia concussions. Jammin, of course, going to be the first one to be taken down. Geotheo to go down next. And oh my lord, look at how many people are saying goodbye to Rainbow Six as well. Shocks, however, is going to continue on that trend as well, taking down Jammin. Wait a minute, what? Jammin's been gone for a while and he just showed up in the... Okay, interesting. But overall, a good trade nonetheless. Sledge is not having a very good time on either side in the beginning rounds. With 1 minute and 30 left on the clock, you still have a lot of your anchor potential and really not a lot of leeway going on to the bomb site. So Amai, behind the Iron Shield, holding on to Deer Room is going to be dangerous. And of course, Aquatic taking down Dark Eagle and Cashman returning fire onto Scud. It's turning into a 3v3.
The action is coming down now and here in the last minute. The flashbang's grinding out the Jaeger, or not the Jaeger, the Hollow player right there. We're going to see Ash be blinded by her own team as she's trying to find a sightline into this objective here. 50 seconds, closing it rapidly, and everything's just coming out. Smoke canisters flying out, coming out from Aqua. Let us say, wow, he's going to lose his life. However, Cashman is also going to lose his as well. 2v2, 45, and it's just ticking down. Lives and time ticking down in tandem.
Ticking. That's the name of the game so far. And it's going to be your Ash, which you don't normally see last alive, and it's going to be your Thermite, the two FBIs last alive, trying to figure out how to dismantle the terrorist group. Brandon, however, holding on to Attic as long as he can, and the Smoke still having one charge left. Going to be waiting for the sub-10 moment if he can, but no, he does not quite. It's going to be the smoke grenade going off, just barely missing that defender going down. Of course, the Womai is going to progress forward. He's not going to have the most amount of luck. 40 seconds. Excuse me, now left, and it's going to be the Womai going down. 1v2, and it's the FBI, or I better say SDSU. Winning the first round in the second half, that's going to be a really good comeback in winning them past the tie right now by having the point advantage over Calorie. Of course, we've been saying that a lot so far. It's been a back and forth, but if SDSU can win this next attacking round, they'll be able to have a 2-round lead, which we have not seen from them just yet.
Indeed, San Diego really needs to capitalize on this momentum that they have right now. Having the first round out of the side switch is something to be very proud of, especially since that can change the momentum of any game, regardless of who's ahead and regardless of who's all tied up. So are we going to see San Diego carry forward, or are we going to see Cal change it around, going back to the second floor dorm site, and this time bring in a Cav? Is that going to be a 6-pick, or is Ral going to stick it?
It's got to be 6-pick. There's no way. Yep, there it is. Caveira going into probably Vigil, if I had to take a guess. Now, Ral has typically been more of the support player, bringing out the Twitch on attacking rounds, but it looks like no, the Pulse it is, the Roamer, the deadly Pulse that we saw on the defense not too long ago, coming out from Cashman, now on the reverse side. And I do think that was something that we were desperately missing from Calorie's side as well on their defense, was that we didn't really have as much roam potential, and definitely no vertical play from, say, a C4 that SDSU brought themselves. But we do have the remaining Cashman Jackal as well, which is interesting to know. I don't really think the Jackal brought a lot in terms of utility last round, but maybe it'll be better for the Pulse this time.
Yeah, trying to put that pulse in its C4 in proper position is like trying to put a pen to paper. It works out when you're talking about it, but you might just find yourself scouted out by Cashman and the Jackal and the fleet of drones that these attackers have at the very disposal. Of course, not as many as
5 seconds left before insertion.
99. Imagine that game we would have if there were 99
Attackers are moving out to
drones for
locate a bomb and
attack.
defuse it.
Well, you know, if it were mute protocol, we'd all be outside the map right now. But with all of that being aside, it's going to be SDS having the round advantage going into this round. And they're already off to a good start. It's not going to be the Attic push that it looks like that the team is prepared for on the defense. It's going to be a master bedroom push instead. No Cali once again. Jamin probably going to go from below or maybe even Shady, trying to take down the bandit charges from inside classroom, and it's exactly what Shady is planning to do. It's the ultimately smart move to do. Not a lot being challenged right now to be FBI versus FBI again, it seems, but no. Ral is playing in basement, a little too far away from just about everybody else in the game. Now, Dark Eagle surviving on the Sledge this far, I'm actually kind of impressed. This is the longest I think we've seen Sledge survive in any round in the game.
Yeah, of course, that's no fault of his own, as we saw Aqua Lettuce usually be the one frag side switch, and Ash is just going to hop in and hop out, trying to get those bandit charges quickly, as we're going to see Bandit lurking around, trying to
Defender has
find
left the
something
designated
he can do
staging
to
area.
avenge his fallen utility.
Now, what Bandit doesn't realize is that Shady is not too far behind. I believe rotating upwards towards Master Bedroom. Those walls are still up in Master, so not a whole lot really being expedited on that end. Looks like the push now is looking towards to be small tower and big window, and it's actually not something we see too often, but a few shots going in. It's going to be Cashman finding Shucks, and very close by is going to be the Pulse, his friend, his buddy, possibly able to move Venture to death.
Fresh fire going in!
Fortunately, he is going to go ahead and take off a run. As soon as Jackal Pinks come out, turns around with the UMP to spray at the base of the stairs. And Cashman is not going to risk it by moving forward. He's going to take that shotgun and try to open it up for his teammate, getting one bandit charge on the right, and that's all Thermite needs to wreak havoc upstairs.
Wreaking havoc indeed. Rao right now still hiding down inside basement. Probably trying to go for the rotate of a lifetime, it seems. Otherwise, kind of a bit of a waste. Hiding down inside the basement this whole time, completely away from everybody. There's less than a minute left on the clock. And everyone on the attacking team is alive and not even damaged once. But you can't say the same thing about Calorie right now. Shux is completely gone and only one person left is completely damaged, and that's going to be your good old friend, the Wamai, still alive. But no, it's not to be. Brandon takes down Cashman. That's going to be your Jackal gone. 30 seconds left on the clock, and the defenders are holding on the site with an iron fist. Iron, of course, does rust out over time, so it could be all for nothing. Grenade's going to go down, heavily damaged Brendan. Aqualet is going to be DB&O, and that's going to be the plant going down. Question mark, no. The rotate instead, but a 4v4 turns into a 4v3, but no, that turns into a 3v1. Suddenly, the defenders are looking very promising. That's going to be an even 4-4 between the two teams. It's just never ending between these two. No one's able to get that leverage. No one's able to get that advantage on Oregon today.
Indeed, going back and forth and back and forth. We're now tied up again, 4-4, double what we had last time. And now we're going back down to laundry. Are we going to see Cal pull something out of their hat? We saw that San Diego wasn't strong on the side. When 0 for 3, is Cal going to fare the same? Or are they going to show San Diego how it's done?
I mean, it's yet to be seen. It really depends on the operator composition right now. We do see the smoke play, and we're probably going to see the Goyo come out from somebody. But no, if anyone, it's going to be Legion 6 picking out into the Goyo, but the Legion pick isn't terrible either. But we are probably going to see a huge construction play come out in blue tarps, and no 6 picking will happen. But we do have the Jackal, going from Jackal, of course, into the Cali pick, and that is a very smart choice from Cashman. Now, assuming that they don't realize the 6th pick is going to come out, Calorie is going to bank on having not a single really good utility dispersion other than burning out ADSs. But, of course, by that, I do mean Shady and Jamin with their utilities and their projectiles, and of course the flash and frag grenades from the Thermite and Sledge as well. But little do they know, lances are out from Cashman. That should be probably a huge blunder on whatever kind of attack that they have prepared in terms of gadgetry inside blue tarps.
Indeed, they do have that rotate open for those smoke blows, and they're using shotgun holes for the feet down below, trying to find easy pegs on any attackers entering on in. And I believe we're also going to see a pocket reinforcement for when the gunfight starts getting a little bit too hot down in blue.
Now, what I'm really curious about to see is how SDSU is going to attack this round. It's looking like your standard blue tarps attack that we see time after time again, but we actually saw to be almost completely neglected when Calorie was attacking. Now keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time in the second half we do see Laundry come out with Calorie defending as well, but they're taking a much more aggressive stance at it with the Wamai playing against the Iron Shield. And the smoke, I believe, not too far behind either, but we do see some action going on Big Tower, and the Cali holding an extremely tight pixel angle going all the way to the brick walls in the back.
Yeah, she's just waiting for the piece to come on out. Flashbangs to try to bait him in, and the utility. That's going to clear 2 of the Wamai gadgets, as well as half of the ADS, I believe. Thermite's going to go ahead and clear the rest himself, and the Kali charge zooms on in to clear the bandits.
Now, clearing the bandits, of course, is going to be, well, the Kaid Electro Claws. It's going to be number 1, but, you know, we're clearing a lot of other things away as well. 4v4 right now, round number 9, less than 2 minutes left, and Brandon holding it with an Iron Fist right now behind that Iron Shield, not able to find any pop shots, forced to give up blue. That could potentially be huge, giving it up, and it's going to be a lot more leeway for the attackers to do a little bit more damage, just having some more room to wiggle around, and no follow-up coming out from pillars either. However, is holding on to what seems to be the landing of the downside of blue. It's going to be forcing Rao to be in a very uncomfortable position of watching multiple angles now. Jamin, of course, holding the angle just below towards pillars. Is going to be the end of round potentially very soon. But before we get to the storyline of round, it's going to be Shucks on that Legion, still taking down Dark Eagle, and Ralph taking down Shady, but not before having to trade with that same operator. A 3v3 turns into a 3v2. Of course, that always leads to the downturn of numbers continuing to go down. 2v2 across the board. SPS taking damage on Geo, and that's going to be a lot of blood squirting out all over the place on side supply room. A 2v1 right now. The defenders have that advantage. Damon taking down nobody. It's going to be Calorie winning the round once more, and that's going to give them the 2-round lead. The first time we've actually seen 2 rounds won in a row in the second half.
Yes, Calorie now pulling ahead. They have the Wamai and the Legion Crossfire all set up to bait in the Zofia. Zofia trying to swing hard and fast to clear out Freezer, but she can't sting quite fast enough for her liking. We are going to see 5 and 4 be on the score, with Calorie in the lead trying to get one more.
Wow, actual poetry coming out. You should make a book of poems. You're like
Dr. Seuss.
Oh, I love Dr. Seuss. Green eggs and ham, man. That's the real jam. But
green eggs and ham and a gun that goes bam.
Man, you should be a literariologist, like a professor of literature. I took one of those classes. It was interesting. Very interesting. I didn't learn anything, but I wrote a lot. But speaking of not learning a whole lot and writing quite a bit, I have a lot of words going on in my brain right now, and the first ones I see are meeting hall and kitchen. Now, interestingly, we do see 2 hard breachers coming out from SDSU's side to be the Thermite and the Hibana. Now, we do see Sledge returning once more, I believe, with their frag grenades, of course, in tow. Now, we don't normally see 2 hard breachers come out too often on New Oregon. We used to on Old Oregon a little bit for the Hibana hatches and so forth, but not so much anymore. It's mostly just a dedicated Thermite and, Maverick as well. But the Hibana and the Thermite can give a lot more leeway for these soft tower walls. And that's going to be really nice, especially with some vertical plays and a lot of reinforcements going out as well. There's not enough reinforcements to electric claw ratio for it all to be covered.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Indeed, and they're opening the hatches for the rotations as well. This is the first time we're seeing this site. This is the black sheep of all the sites here on Oregon. This is the one that will prove most troublesome of all, especially if they don't keep that second floor roam strong.
And we've only seen dining room once, and that was on the first half, and that round really did go down to the letter, but it ultimately went in SDSU's favor. This time, however, the roles have changed, and it's going to be soft tower being opened up immediately. It looks like it's a similar attack once again. The attack before on the other half did go more of a western push, but this is more of a split push routine with the Sledge taking over Armory looking for that roam clear, but all the roamers are playing close to, if not on the site. And with that being said, it's going to be 2 minutes now left on the clock. Aquatic Lettuce looking around to find that proper positioning, just kind of quick peeking everything and nothing at the same time. But this is a very anchor heavy setup on the defense. We do have the Wamai and the Jaeger for potential playing off the site as well, but we're not seeing a whole lot of that. In fact, that's going to be free range for the vertical play, especially above B site inside kids, and that could be very detrimental for the defense as well.
Yeah, halftime already approaching. No offer is taken out just yet. They're just having to try to push into sight. Habana and Jackal meeting, kind of a little bit awkward, trying to find what they can do, finding some tracks now and pushing on through. Habana's going to try to open this up for her team, along with Thermite's going to be the one breaching the wall. Both of them going off and trying to make the defenders fall.
Yeah, and making the defenders fall is actually becoming harder and harder with every second that goes by. Dark Eagle making some rotate holes, some breach holes from up above inside kids will give some great vertical play opportunities, especially with the horizontal play from the western side of the map coming a little bit more into fruition. It's slowly like a cobra squeezing onto their prey, constricting the enemies as much as they can. Now playing a 90, that's going to be Brandon, unfortunately meeting the barrel of Cashman, taking him down. Aquatic Lettuce, however, finding some luck with the SMG-11 into the smoke grenade, taking a double kill. But Geo is on a rampage right now, taking down Cashman. The back and forth right now at the attackers, who are going down in a little folly. Down to Dark Eagle, typically the first one to go down, actually gonna be the last alive, holding on to dear life with that L1185. It's gonna be down to your two anchors, your three armor, 1 speeds, finding that success, and Calorie winning 3 rounds in a row, however, on their defensive half. This is looking really much like a Calorie game, and they only need 1 more round to win. They want to move on to map number 2, with it being in their favor. No overtime to be seen on Oregon.
Indeed, Calorie pulling ahead, finally 2 rounds up, and they're looking to just stow it away as they rotate up to the door side now.
Yeah, and going back to kids is really all you can do if you are in Calorie side. Laundry went in your favor, kids went in your favor, and hey, guess what, DJ? Dining went in your favor.
Yep, fine dining indeed coming out from Calorie. Are they going to move away? I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Now, keep in mind that the only round in the second half that SDSU did win was the very first round on kids. But it seems like Calorie adapted around the attacking maneuvers of SDSU and have won every round since. That includes another kids round. So we're possibly going to see the similar result again. We're not seeing too many operator changes coming out from SDSU's side either. So that could be a really big detriment, especially in no offense to Cashman. The Jackal really hasn't brought a lot of utility to the site. Yes, he is finding kills. He's 11-7. Congratulations. That's actually amazing compared to the stats of the rest of his team. But even then, could have brought out something with much similar utility that could benefit the team more. Typically here, this is where I'd say bring the IQ, but IQ's a little banned right now.
Yeah, with IQ off the board, that's going to be something that San Diego can't bring onto the board.
10 seconds to insertion.
And it's just going to be something that they bring and handle with stride, trying to see if they can handle the next 2 rounds with pride.
Attacker's objective is to
I don't know
locate
why
a bomb
I'm getting
and
stuck in
defuse it.
rhyme. I guess it's just about that time here in the
Oh
match
God!
where I'm losing the energy and I just start going insane. But we're gonna have to see some insanity coming out from San Diego if they want to stay in this for map 1.
Well, I really hope they can stay in map 1 for a little bit longer. The Oregon game has been very entertaining so far. Of course, as entertaining as it is, I'm sure we'd all like to go to bed soon. It is 11:30 at night, but hey, at 90 we do have some action going down. Cashman once again finding the opening frag onto Geo Theo. This could be your Jaeger gone. You still have the Pulse as a backup and potential refrag opportunities, but where is the Pulse at? The answer is going to be actually anchoring down inside Attic, waiting for anyone to potentially push Attic, but that's not going to be anybody. We see the roam clear going down horizontally on the middle floor of the Oregon map, and no real luck to be found besides finding Geo. Everyone else is actually going to be holding on to the site, and that might be just more time going to be wasted for the attackers. Now, SDSU does have the man advantage. They need to hold on to it, but it looks like it's going to continue in their favor. Aquatic Lettuce going for the jump out, but no. Instead, another one in tandem going to be finding Jamin from Chunks.
And with that, we have the man advantage in the hands of the attackers. Cashman, however, not looking too good for himself, losing a little bit of health, only being barely alive, and he has to just see if he can find some utility to put on the board for his team before he's taken down. He manages to get one, but he's down but not out. Down in Meeting Hall, and his teammates are just all about that. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get it to him in time. We do see Sledge lurking close by, and the fear is if there's an air roamer near. But Sledge is going to be brave and go for the revive, I believe, as soon as Cashman can run around that corner. LMG standing by from Maestro, waiting to ring clear.
Like a Lucario, Cashman gets more powerful the more damage he takes, and so far he's been getting all the frags so far this round. -1 for Jamin, of course, and it's looking like BattleEye is on a rampage once more. 44 seconds left on the clock. It's looking like an SDSU round right now, but Brandon is holding a very nice angle from inside Attic. Of course, he's been spotted out, but the smoke grenade is not going to do a whole lot. Shucks still finds Killer, and it's going to be 2 defenders left alive. Of course, he tries to go for another one. Unfortunately, gonna miss. Not going to connect right away. Shady takes down Brandon, and you're down to just your Alda. Alda versus a 1v3. It's going to turn into a 1v2. It's possible. A triple kill so far for Shucks. If he gets these next two, it's going to be an ace. Fuser's still not down, and he's not looking at the right angle. It's going to be the peak coming out from Cashman once again. The ultimate Lucario. It's going to be SDSU taking another round and preventing us from going to map 2 for a little bit longer.
Yeah, they're really trying to see this first map through, trying to provide as much trouble for Cal before map 1 goes away.
Absolutely. Now we will be returning to Laundry once again, which Calorie so far has completely uncontestedly won. Now it did come a little bit close before, but again, still winning it. There's a 1-0 in Calorie's favor, whereas with Kids, it's now 1-2 in their disadvantage. But if you had to end a game on a round under defense in your favor, it should be the one you've gone 100% successful on so far, and it looking like their operator lineup isn't changing a whole lot either. Now we don't see the Cali coming out from SDSU's side, but they have Cashman on that Jackal, which apparently has been working really well for the roam clear so far, so why fix what's not broken, I guess? Oh, he's switching away from that and going to the Cali once more. Now I do stand corrected. Last time we actually had seen Cashman on the Cali on this site as well.
It is kind of questionable to me because while I do love Cali's utility, she provides something for whenever Thatcher is banned like now, and it's for those players who might not be the best, for those Maverick holes who have no allegiance. Cali just limits your gunplay to your secondary, unless you have that long range capability in certain maps, Cali's sniper isn't going to be what you want to bring to a gunfight where fire rate.
You're absolutely right, but it's so up close and personal. It's like the early days of Dokkaebi on release, where the SMG-12 was essentially a primary because of how good it is. The SPS is not too far from that sort of mantra, and having the lances on your sniper rifle can easily rip open this bunker push. But 3 ADSs and I believe some mine magnets on the board is going to completely, or at least have the chance to completely cancel out all of blue tarp so far, and that's going to make the push become rearranged. Now we do see Jam and I believe spawning way far away into Junkyard, and this could be a potential split push going through Freezer as well, but the burning of the ADSs begin. But of course, before you can even get close to too many of those ADSs, the Wamai magnets catch them bored.
And now the lance goes off, the ADSs are cleared, flashes go off to put some more pressure on that Wamai, just waiting for Ash to push on the clear and see if Wamai is going to stay even longer than he did last time.
It's very possible, and Brandon was holding back, like we said before, with an iron fist. Of course, with an iron shield in front of that fist as well. It's kind of like the knuckles of it. But with 2 minutes left, there's still plenty of time for SDSU to maneuver around and reconfigure their plan. It's a bit of a standstill right now. We have 2 of the attackers hiding outside of tarps, while we do see some headway being made by Jammin and Shady. This is really the crux of the round right now. This is the majority of where the action and the meet's taking place. We do have Dark Eagle as well inside Meeting Hall, looking for these non-existent roam clearing operators. But they're not going to be found. In fact, the closest one to being offsite is going to be played in Freezer, which Jam is opening up and wants to actively contest. It's going to be Geo that might be finding those angles. Of course, as well, there is Ral, who is not the Kaid this time, I do want to mention. It'll be the Mute instead, contesting on pillars again with a much inferior, I would say, weapon overall from the SMG that Kaid uses. Of course, there are some crazy people with the SMG-11, but they are certified to be insane, and it can't work out for them. And we might very well see this in Ral's favor as well.
Looks like they're going to try to open up that freezer wall. The ping's going out from Jamin on the Zofia, trying to get intel to provide Sledge and Ash right by their side. But with time ticking down, less than a minute in this round, Cal might be able to just put this match point on their end. Therm might put in the charge so they can breach into A. And now the round continues without delay.
Located a bomb.
Absolutely. And wow, Blood City right now going back and forth. Holy moly. It's me, Ral, and Geotheo completely going down a 2v3 in SDSU's favor right now. It's not looking good for the defenders. Even when it was previously a 100% success rate, but it's coming very close to the wire. Brendan now with his Iron Fist is actually in a bit of a detriment right now. He's unable to rotate away from the target successfully. He could potentially be surrounded. The freezer push so far successful. The bomb diffuser almost going down, but no, it's Pajaman that goes down. 5 seconds left to get it down. It's be the 000s, and is Dark Eagle going to be able to do it? He's got a little bit of health. If he's able to find this shot, it's going to be game over. And there we go, potentially bringing it back, and that is going to be map number 1, ladies and gentlemen, going in Cavalry's favor. A very close final round, potentially almost going to overtime, but it's going to be Shucks to save the day with that double kill and bringing us to map number 2.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the first map. Cavalry taking the match 7-5. Very close first map, and I think we're going to see overtime lurking around at the end of map 2. The teams are just beginning to heat up, so I don't know about you. Y'all better stick around right after this break that me and the casters and the team are about to take.
Absolutely.
In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this welcome back to the Collegiate Rainbow Six Summer Playoff Series, round number 16. Beautiful first game coming up between Cavalry and SDSU. That was a very close game, all things considered. It was a little bit uneven in Cavalry's favor, going to the very second side of the map. But hey, it does happen. A little bit of burnout potentially, or maybe just a little bit of unfamiliarity with the attack. But overall, really nice work all throughout. But of course, it doesn't quite end just there. We will be going to map number 2 on Clubhouse. And in case you forgot or just tuning in now, my name is Keglanek, and with me today is the wonderful and beautiful DJ Dextros.
Hello, everyone. We have our players ready. We're getting all set up now. And going to Clubhouse, the operator bands are going to be so different than we usually see. Operator bands, Thatcher usually being on the board, Maverick, a common culprit, and then the aggressive target band. What do you think we're going to see here tonight? Okay.
If we do have a target ban tonight, it's either going to be a Cali pick on attack, or we're going to see a hard target ban of Pulse on defense. Now, if you remember from last night, we actually did see a huge target ban of Pulse as well, I believe, onto the team name escapes me, but overall, we did see the Pulse target ban overall, and it worked pretty effectively. But this first ban coming out, I can already tell you, DJ, is probably going to be Thatcher. Of course, before it was the IQ ban, but are we going to see that for Clubhouse? The answer is a hard maybe, and the answer is actually going to be Maverick instead. But like you mentioned, Maverick not too uncommon of a ban.
Indeed, it's the second one that puts a little bit of a question in your statement, but I think this might be the Thatcher that you were looking towards, and oh no, IQ still going to be banned. 2 maps in a row now, IQ's off the board, and Thatcher remains to make the Hard Breacher's day.
Yeah, that's going to be a really interesting choice to opt away from the Maverick and go for the Thatcher. You know, now, common sense would definitely say, hey, the Thatcher would be better, but I don't know, DJ. I'm kind of considering that maybe the Maverick ban might be more powerful overall than the Thatcher one. Now, I know that's kind of a crazy thing to say, but if you think about it, you know, Maverick tricking the wall and stuff has become such the biggest norm, and removing the Kaid off the board as well, this is going to be a really interesting match to say the very least.
Yeah, it looks like we're finally going to see some classic Thermite and Bandit tricking come in play tonight, and Cal is going to be the first team to try to show us that as they go ahead and pull Echo off the board. Mira as well is going to be still on the slate, but I think Cal instead will have a lot more on their plate.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm curious to see, with the Echo ban, of course, not being not too much of a surprise overall, but when we do have CCTV going first, we are seeing a very interesting lineup already for the defense. It's interesting, but it's not terribly uncommon either. The Bandit and the Jaeger, of course, mainstays. Doc, we did see some Rook play yesterday, which was very, very interesting to say in the absolute least. But the Mozzie Wamai is almost a remnant of an SSG roam, but not quite the same site and not quite having the roam either. It's pretty much just down to the Mozzie playing for that intel denial and hopefully work in their favor. But of course, we do have the Thatcher on the board, so it could all be for nothing.
Indeed, I think we're going to have to see Les play a much more active role, as well as force him to keep some of his bandits on board. Zofia, it's probably going to be her and Ayana trying to keep the pressure on that production window, so Bandit can't remain very viable against the Thatcher and Thermite
Defenders,
combo.
protect your
But
bombs from
we'll
being
just have to
defused
wait
by
and see
attackers.
as the first round begins.
The defense overall starting off not going to be probably terribly crazy. I'm not expecting to see 4,000 IQ strategies or anything like that coming out from the defense. We're just going to see normal play styles, of course, or normal reinforcements. But what I'm curious about most is how the attackers want to approach this. Normally they're confined to just the Maverick, and they have the Maverick trick the wall. But now having the Thatcher, it's almost like choice paralysis. You can either go through logistics, open up construction if you really wanted to. You could go through Jacuzzi Wall. You could go through the same old Raptor stockroom / CCTV server wall that we normally see. But it looks like already a potential roam clear coming out from that Action Yana combo.
Indeed, both of them spawning on the west side of the map to perhaps clear from Jacuzzi and provide a pincer attack with the Thermite and Thatcher Bros clearing the other side on the east. Doc is going to get a little bit aggressive, however, trying to find some sort of early peak or at least some early damage to put his team at the advantage. But he isn't going to find anything just yet. Already the first Thatcher is going off, and Lettuce trying to use his bandits appropriately. He's going to be dancing around with 3 on board, and I believe he's set to lose many more.
So far, I mean, when it comes down to it, you gotta make sure those holes get opened up, and unfortunately the bandit not too successful in the end. But still 30 seconds down the drain, it's actually gonna be the wall open up fairly quickly. Now, I'm not saying that's entirely in part because of the Thatcher being on board, but it's definitely a part of being the Thatcher on board. But while we're having this adventure, we do see the Gemini drone going through construction, and it doesn't seem like there's anything to really contest it going practically onto the site. The Wamai is going to be playing in construction as well as Shady, holding a very strong angle, waiting for anyone to pop through going to bedroom. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, and we do see a very, very nice black Ice G36 coming out. But the opening pick going to be in Shucks' favor, going towards Dark Eagle, and that's going to be the Thatcher gone. That's the worst attacker you want to have go off, but Ryle does want to follow up as well as taking down Cashman. Now, if you remember from last map, Cashman was the primary fragger for SDSU's side, so losing him in the, as the second pick is not a favorable position, especially without the trade to back it up.
Speaking of trading, we see Jaeger flanking on in from the main stairs, trying to find this Ash, and goes off the pincher move. There's one inside of construction. He hasn't been seen just yet, but the shots are coming out. Actually, no, he's prone on the other side of the window. These outlines are throwing me off, but stairs is not going to be thrown off at all. Finding the head of Theo. That's going to be finally a defender off the board as 45 seconds are left on the clock. The attackers need to start pushing quicker. They need to get into the side and gain a foothold.
Gaining a full hold is what SDSU has really struggled with as the attackers for the last 2 maps. Now, of course, when it comes down to Clubhouse, it's pretty hard to get on the CCTV, and evidence of that being so is Aquatic Justice through the doorframe, able to take down Shady. Of course, the same thing happens with him. Karma is like that, and Killer will find Aquatic Lettuce as well. But there is a little bit of some troubles going on. Well, I believe that's going to be the Pizza Mozzie taking down Killer Rhino. And a 3v1 turns into a 2v1 with Jamin playing the very aggressive game. And wow, ring around the rosy, Ashes the Mozzie will fall down. Calorie taking round number 1 and winning CCTV on the attack. It was looking really dire in the beginning, but somehow, in some way, it was brought back in the part of Jammin'. That's a really strong start coming out for, a really strong start for the defenders right there. Jammin' unfortunately being too distracted to put that diffuser down at the very end and having too many angles go up against them. But SDSU do have their work cut out for them in the upcoming round.
Indeed they do, and we're going to see the clash come onto the board. Rao trying to rally up the troops as they go downstairs into the arsenal, and Pulse is going to add to that. Rao probably teasing the clash a little bit, gonna maybe 6-pick that.
That's right, I completely forgot. We actually did have a clash ban on Oregon last game, but it looks like we're not seeing that again this time. The Valkyrie may want to switch over because they're not secured in just yet, but I don't know. I would definitely stick with the Valkyrie if it were me, just overall, but we do see the 6th pick going into the more familiar Jackal pick once more, and I believe on Cashman's advantage. And yes, it is Cashman once again remaining on that C7E. Going to be trying to roam clear as much as possible. Now, unlike Oregon, I do think this is a much more appropriate map to bring the Jackal on. There is a lot of potential to have those roamers such as Theo or maybe even Shucks. Now, of course, as we say that, there's a lot of C4 potential on the board with having 2 being able to potentially take down and vertical play these various attackers.
Indeed, and those black guys are certainly going to help, setting up 1 in kitchen already and roaming around to set a couple more for the attackers. Legion Mind spread out to deny blue a bit, and they're all set up to finally start this round off with a bang.
Attackers must locate.
It's just going to be a question of how San Diego will attack this and how they're going to clear it. Again, that Maverick being off the board is going to be detrimental to them, so Thatcher's going to have to be a key for them to try to open up anything. Bandit's going to be only useful, I believe, on those church walls. He might be able to do dirt as well, but dirt is going to be a lot easier to clear with even just a simple frag grenade.
Now, keep in mind, Kaid is banned as well, so that's going to be free real estate for pretty much all the reinforced hatches for Hibana and or Thermite, well, preferably Hibana, to open up. With that being said, though, Thatcher still needs to be careful where those EMPs go. The bandit batteries are placed inside church, I believe, on both sides, interestingly. But there is a chance for, I believe, some bandit tricking to be done, especially at that very close-knit of a level. It could be potentially doable and waste those EMPs. He only has 3 on Dark Eagle's stature, whereas the Maverick does have quite a bit of blowtorch potential. But that is no matter. Right now, we do see the roam clear coming out from Cashman, looking to see where these footprints are eventually going to lead to. Of course, he is looking in the opposite direction. It's going to be 2 floors down, but it gives pretty good evidence that there are no defenders on the top floor. Not something we see too often anymore when it comes down to church defenses.
Indeed, but Jackal is going to be distracted by that, at least for a little bit. Those footsteps going to draw him away from the site. That's one less gun looking at the defenders as halftime has now hit its mark. Everything's just kind of slowing down as the attackers set for their bout. Blue's getting secured now, and this seems to be a blue dirt push. Or no, excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong team. Outlines seems to be confusing little old me.
Yeah, go to bed, Grandpa.
Attackers slowly setting up. I believe they're going to open up those hatches and just try to do some sort of quick job. We see Jamin as well as Shady on the blue side trying to clear out these defenders out of this. They don't know exactly where they are, but they do have drones circulating about, and flashes are coming out to clear out the ADS and other utilities.
Overall, when it comes to the attack, it seems like there's not really a dedicated push overall. Now, while it seems to have a little bit of leeway going on the western side, going towards main staircase, even that Yellow Miner was kind of suffering a lot in his lonesome, it appears. Now, especially, it appears, being completely trapped inside Moto's entryway. It's going to be a 3v3, but I mean, even then, all the attackers are completely stranded. We see most of the defenders inside church, and that 1v3 very quickly turned into a SDSU win. Okay, watch Dark Eagle now pull out through the team. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3 kills! Bringing it back and securing it like Archer, like James Bond, like Solid Snake, like Superman himself. Dark Eagle, play of the game, Overwatch style, MVP of the match already. A fantastic set of kills in a row, securing SDSU's very first win in map 2.
Yes, very well done, utilizing the fact that the defenders weren't looking at him at all, and the flashbangs coming out from his teammates to distract them away. Jaeger watching the breach, and Sledge just came out to play.
All things considered, that should have been another calorie win. Everyone was indeed bunched up on their side inside church, but all that really seemed to be in the way was a Thermite kind of just huddling around, playing a very defensive, almost primal defensive measure in their behalf. But even then, that wasn't enough. Sledge came down and saved the day seemingly out of nowhere. We can call that the miracle play of collegiate Rainbow Six, because I don't think that can be replicated again anytime soon. Dark Eagle, however, taking a much more passive role, it seems, going to be going away from the Sledge pick into the
Defenders,
Thatcher.
protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
And now we're going to see Arsenal play out yet again. This time, Cal's trying to fortify up what might have been. Bandits being taken away because the utility just isn't there. They can't go against that Thatcher, so might as well bring some ACOGs to spare. Doc going to be on the board as well as Maestro. Intel to hopefully turn the tide of the war, as well as those stim pistols to give a little bit more health to anyone fleeing from the gunfight.
So I do want to apologize. It was Dark Eagle again on the Thatcher last round.
10
I
seconds
mean,
left.
the gas masks all look pretty similar, but even then, that's a good reason why you want to ban Thatcher.
seconds
Normally,
left
the
before
L1185 is just too strong, it appears. But a lot of other things too strong as well. It's going to be Aquatic Lattice looking for a potential run out in the very beginning, using the
Defender has
default
left
cam to
the
his advantage.
designated station.
K1 off A, looking for those kills, but no, the holographic just a little too far away for the scope to go through. Not a single bullet, it seems, connecting onto what I believe would have been that thermite, which would have been a gigantic kill in the favor of Calorie. Unfortunately, it's not to be, and that jacuzzi wall could potentially fall under suit.
Indeed, and now we see that Raul's going to be lurking over towards garage, seeing if anyone's pushing in there. The drones are going to be there, but not the team themselves. Clearing stock as well as Lounge, trying to see if they can get a foothold. To sit and put pressure onto that blue area, just like last round. Odds are we're going to see Habana as well rotate around. Two defenders over in garage to try to ruin their bout.
Like zombies crawling into their own human flesh pit. It's Aquatic Lettuce and Raul right now, looking in Raptors and Garage respectively, trying to figure out what to do about the Zofia. There's no way they don't know that one is in stockroom and one is waiting in service, but it's a matter of approaching and waiting for those angles to be removed. But Aquatic Lettuce wants to play the dangerous game, looking around, potentially maybe not realizing the Zofia is there. This is going to be a huge stall-out game between the two teams. At least one side must know about the other, and the stall-out game ensues. But with that being said, it looks like the Bandit wants to back off. It's realizing maybe it's not a fight they want to play, and in blue, there are two more waiting for the scuffle. Of course, with Alda on the board, you really only need one to watch Arsenal. No action going down inside the dirt tunnel, so not too much to worry about. But it's going to be Aquatic Lettuce who finds Jammin', but Cashman to save the day once again, able to secure Aquatic's death. Now, interestingly, Cashman is going to be moving away from the Thatcher pick and going to be going for the Buck for the extra vertical play this time around.
Indeed, less than a minute now, however, and 4v4 on the clock. Drones coming in, trying to find as much intel as I can before the push. Two in blue, and Shady just can't push just yet. Has to start using some of that utility. Get those concussion mines down there. Clear some of those ADSs that might be right down there with some flashbangs to support. Cashman, come on. Give us something to push for.
Oh, Cashman does not want to have anything else other than pure raw carnage on his side. 20 seconds left, and we still have the majority of the players on the board. Like a chess match, every move is going to count, and one by one, they're going to be eliminated. 3v4 right now. Raul goes down next, but it doesn't end there. It's a flurry of death going through the church once again. Dark Eagle not making the hero play this time, but he doesn't need to. SDSU is going to win. He does get the final kill onto Brandon, but not as heroic as last time. Just raw killing coming out from SDSU, securing 2 rounds in a row. And so far, the attack on SD's side is looking really solid.
Indeed, SDU taking Arsenal 2 times in a row. The real question is, are they going to be able to apply that momentum to this cash site? We're going back upstairs yet again. No need to mess around downstairs anymore, as the round lock is finally worn off. And we're going to see if Calorie can finally start picking up some more rounds on the board for this second map, round 4.
It was definitely a really interesting move to go from Church after losing once to Church again. They probably expected on a Calorie side, well, we lost it, but from a really unlikely standpoint. Let's try it again. Unfortunately, everyone pretty much did the same exact thing again on the attacking side, and it worked out. We did see much more roaming this time around from Calorie, but it just was not up to snuff. Now, we will be returning the CCTV again, and this has been 100% success rate so far for Calorie's side, and this might be what they need, similar to what we saw in Oregon before, to really bring it home.
And they are going to have that advantage again. Lettuce needs to try to balance this a little bit better. If he has teammates watching for that Zofia a little bit earlier, those concussion mines took him out of that situation that would have given him the enemy trick denial. He needs his team to watch his back so he can focus completely on getting that utility down and preventing entrance in from the attackers. I know they won round 1, but that doesn't mean they can't do better on what they've done before. Needing to watch everything is really tough on this side, but trusting in your teammates, working together. There is no I in team. You have to work as one, don't you see?
Yeah, absolutely. Working as one is really the most important thing right now, but kind of like Sable from yesterday's matches, we're seeing Shuckswin trying to go for some very aggressive and very, albeit risky, spawn peaks, or almost attempted runouts. Just those early picks coming out from outside. Not going to find a lot of success. In fact, it's going to be Gem who gets some pop shots off. Almost coming close to connecting the Shucks, but just a few degrees off. You're going to need a protractor for that one, Dex.
Yeah, indeed. Nothing's quite lined up in the angle of sight. They know he's there, or at least they don't want to risk being caught out. Zofia might be the one to fall prey, however, but I believe Doc's rotated away before he could get the sight. No! Actually just not seeing him in time, or maybe not lining up the shot. Doc's not going to be able to see anything just yet, but he's going to stick around there, maybe even to the attackers.
We are not protected.
Very interesting that not even a single drone seems to be connecting against Shucks when it seems like no one is aware that someone is playing outside just meters away from that Thatcher. The single two most important operators of this round on the attacking side in a very vulnerable position. One of the most vulnerable positions I've ever seen, and Shuxman seems to be extremely hesitant about taking down these shots. He's waiting to see if the bandage trick is going to be effective, and the answer seems to be yeah, no, it's not going to be. Shuxman does take down Dark Eagle, but it's too little too late. The wall's already open. Now in stock room right now, it's going to be Jammin looking to see what he can secure, what he can feast his bullets on down below. But Iana's in a similar pace right now as well. It's going to be Shuxman by himself inside Garage, but meanwhile, way far away, Geo does take down Cashman. And it's suddenly looking really good in Calories' favor. Once again, we're seeing a huge back and forth between the two teams, but with a minute left, we're seeing a lot of the roamers in very interesting places that we don't normally see a lot of the attackers go anymore, such as Geo Theo inside Strip Club.
Indeed, and now less than a minute on the clock. The attackers are 2 down, and they gotta find something to work on. They do have the Ash pressuring from construction, keeping pressure actively on, but Thermite needs to be here to finish the song, and they're just not linking up just yet. Finally, Thermite arrives, and I don't think they're gonna have that time to really push what they need to. Not with the space, not with the smoke coming out, and not with all the that they had just strewn about.
We had seen a similar story in the very first round of this game. Unfortunately, even then, SDSU had more manpower to back up this construction push. But it looks like a similar story will be unfolding again. 20 seconds now. The flank attempts to come out from Shady. Unfortunately, he's the first one to go down to be the opening pick against SDSU, but it's going to be Calorie once more, getting the double kill on Ral's side, and Shucks with the secured final kill. A very good round for Calorie all around. Everyone, I believe, getting a kill separately, or to an extent, at least one. And it worked out very well in their favor, bringing it to an even 2-2, and we're just about done with the first half, only having 2 more rounds, and it's looking like we might see that 3-3 split once more.
Indeed, they're just training back and forth. They're all tied up again, and unlike set 1, they're just a little bit more evenly matched. I don't think we're going to see anyone quite get the competitive edge that they need coming out of this half.
Now we will be returning to church once again, and when it comes down to Clubhouse, I mean, gym and bedroom isn't a bad option for Calorie. Rather than opting to a site where they have a 0% success rate, I'm not sure. Now, the main difference, the sugar spice and everything nice to create the Powerpuff Girls of the defense this time around is gonna be Clash, being played by Ral. Now, keep in mind, it seems like a target ban last time was the Clash going against Ral before, but this time he has open range to do so. Now, personally, I haven't seen Ral play this Clash before, so I'm not really sure what kind of shenanigans can really be brought out, but if it was a target ban in map number 1, it could be devastating.
Indeed, honestly, the Clash as an operator all by itself poses a lot of potential trouble for the attackers if these defenders can get the team work together very well. I'm not sure if he's seen before, but there are a lot of possibilities when you have the Clash on the table. Even
10 seconds left.
Anybody continues to find ways just to annoy the attackers. It's just a question on how well they can apply strategies like those to this content. Because it's not as simple as a casual match like YouTubers and content creators can do with this Clash. You have to see how you can apply it in this more professional aspect, as in they're going to be ready and knowing the counters. This isn't you dealing with a newcomer account. This is you dealing with a player who's been here for 3, maybe even 4 years, maybe even since the beta itself. So they're going to have some experience on their field, especially with gunplay and C4s as a counter.
You're absolutely right, DJ. There's going to be a lot more coordination going by for both of these teams, and the clash needs to be on their A game. It's almost like playing an IGL role in game, if that makes any sense. You got to be aware completely of where every single attacker is pretty much at all times to make sure you don't get flanked from behind, and in that sense, almost kind of controlling the team like a puppeteer to make sure it all goes well in your favor. Of course, as we say that, we do see the clash shield not being exposed, except it's going to be a giant turtle shell on the back, and that's what I believe is going to be the SP9 in their possession. Now, interesting to note is that we do see the attackers kind of struggling for a little bit to find their entryway onto the actual building itself of Clubhouse, not really having a dedicated way of pushing the site. That is going to be Kitchen Hatch opening up right below the clash, but no, the clash is going to be unaffected seemingly. Theo instead going to be taken down in cold blood as the opening pick against Cal.
Yep, and now halftime's on the board, and SMG11 gonna ring off, Cashman off the board, set Sophia, all her utility is now lost, and the attackers just need to keep on pushing forward before they can be found out. The time is their worst enemy of all. The defenders aren't going to be peeking out too aggressively just yet. Average and the drone are going to try to prove some trouble down in the hall.
There's a minute 5 left, and still we have not seen a lot of major headway from the attackers again. Now keep in mind, SDSU so far has a 100% success rate on attacking church and succeeding. The first time it could be argued that it was a miraculous play, the second time was raw skill, and this third time seems to be the story of struggle. Dirt wall is opened up, but Chunks goes down as well. Slowly but surely the defense is melting on Calories' side, and we do see quite a few interesting operators left aboard. We do see Shady right now inside Generator on the other side of the clash pick, holding on for dear life, seemingly not aware of the rotate hold to their left. But that doesn't matter because Vigil comes in for justice against Shady, and it's going to be Blue. No longer be worried though. A 2v2 right now, the most even we have seen the matchup, and Calorie winning out their very first defensive side on Church, winning round 5, and that's going to put them in a small little lead. Going to round 6, the last round in the second half, and SDSU needs to pull a rabbit out of their hat if they don't want that 4-2 split.
Yeah, ironically, I kind of enjoyed how the clash was played there. It wasn't played annoyingly necessarily. You don't see anything where it's like an obvious veteran playing against a newcomer. Instead, you see the clash being the bait. It's holding the motive push, and then the gunplay coming from the main hall for the attackers. The clash attracts the attention and gives the defending off with the AR the ability to refrag. And by the time that happens, that attacker's already out the board. The church attacker swings around to defend some more.
Something we don't see too often are A, Clash players in general, but B, also Clash players that want to play the supportive role. Normally we'd like to see them, normally they attempt to frag out a lot and make these hero plays that ultimately really hurt the team a lot. But like you said, Raul did a fantastic job of being able to work with his teammates, slowing down the attackers, making them rally together, and have these flanks and kills go off. You know, with Aquatic especially, not so much with the help of the Clash, but having the Clash be kind of the pillar of distractions. In the corner of the jukebox, the Clash was tunneled on getting to that rotate hole and taking them down, but it was Aquatic who saved the day, and then from then on able to take on these gunfights, not allowing Calories to take that win. But we're going now down to the mysterious and seemingly not shown up yet gym and bedroom, which we have not seen at all this first half, and this could be whether or not we go to a 3-3 split or a 4-2 in the second half, going momentarily.
Indeed, and bringing the castle and the mirror onto the board, they had this strategy that we must have played before, and I want to see how they play this mirror, because the thing is, like we've been mentioning, having mirror or echo unlocked at all is just something that not a lot of teams would necessarily prepare for. It's seen as some by wasted time, so making sure you have the strats prepared properly, because you can say all day, Echo is so broken, he's so OP. If you have him on the board, then the defenders just win, or even the same with mirror. But it's all about how you apply it. If you don't have practice with it, if you don't have your team set to work around the utility that they bring, it won't work well for the defense strategy that you set up.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because we actually haven't seen see Mira banned yet between these two teams at all in either map. And we've actually seen a lot of Mira traps go down on the Cavalry side, but have they been as successful? No. But 2 minutes left on the clock. It's gonna be Shucks right now looking for those really, really aggressive opening kills and near the windowsill. Not gonna find a whole lot immediately. It's gonna be mostly a jacuzzi wall push, but the mirror wall's in the way. The walls are open completely, and the mirror has a great opportunity to either throw out a C4 or just bide their time a little bit and get those frags. But on the other side of the map, we do see Eastern Stairs having a lot of action go down. Geo taking out Shady, Jamin following up and taking out Brendan. But Jamin wasn't done there, taking the double kill, and Geo going down next. Your Castle and Jaeger are off the board. 1 minute and 20 left on the clock, and I mean, all things considered, you've already lost most of your roam game. The CCTV frontier has been completely destroyed, and Cashman is out for blood. Taking out Shucks to go along with it, you're down to your final two anchors. But they're not completely anchoring, it's going to be inside of construction, but as that frag grenade goes off, on the other side, it's going to be Killer Rhino who gets that final frag, and that's going to be a 3K for Jamin, securing a 3-3 split once again between the two teams. Going into that second half, there is just no letting up between the two, and surprisingly, DJ, no burnout between the two teams either.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, they're still going toe for toe. We saw this in map 1, the split was even, and now here in map 2, the split is even still. Even though these map picks are the ones that the teams have chosen, we're not seeing any team particularly have a certain advantage like we did in the first set. 3-3, and now it's just all a question of who's going to gain the advantage here in the second half. Who's going to be able to pull ahead? Who's going to be able to keep their momentum going?
Now, historically between these two teams, and by historically I mean about an hour ago, we did see Calorie really pull through in the second half. They did start off on attack, however, when it came to the Oregon in their first half on that map, and when it came to the defense, they did lose some rounds, but they did bring it back ultimately to win the map. But the Cali pick going to the Hibana, we do see Geothiel with the Thatcher. It's an interesting sixth pick option. I think normally they are so used to the Cali pick that they want to just sixth pick off of it and use as many hard breachers as they were able to. So it's an interesting choice to go for that. Kind of not even a waste, just an interesting maneuver, but I don't really know who they were planning on fooling, but overall, we're seeing an interesting team comp coming out from SDSU's side. Nothing too crazy. We do see Cashman, however, on the Alda, or I guess also the Maestro, but we know him as Alda because that's what he's most important for.
Indeed, I think the sixth pick makes a lot of sense because they see Shady on the move. They aren't seeing a bandit, and bandit means you're probably going upstairs to cash. There is the chance that the defending team is going to sixth pick, but odds are instead that they're actually going to stick it, especially when you look at the composition that you have. No ACOGs on the team to play up in Raptors, nothing like that. No smoke to deny someone pushing in Raptors from a breach. I think they came to the conclusion that these defenders are going down the stairs instead. So Habana's going to make a lot more sense of those hatches really quickly, or at least providing something in case Thermite gets taken down.
That's very true. I actually didn't think about the attacking team not realizing it wasn't going to be Church in the beginning of the prep phase, and that's on me. But even then, I think the sixth pick into the Hibana was actually a wise choice, and you've convinced me otherwise of my initial statement.
And already we can hear the X-Gyro pellets echoing through the air as some hatches are opening up. I believe that's the kitchen hatch opening up now as we see teams getting set up to do some sort of blue style. I believe Legion, Killer Rhino on the Legion, getting an impact kick onto the first set of Habana pellets. He's going to try it once more far away, and Legion connects once more. That's one more set of pellets down, but Legion is now out of it. However, Zofia pushing down to the base and main stairs manages to find Cashman on the Maestro. That's the LMG as well as a very strong fragger for SDS. And she's going to get half damage on the Legion as well, taking some damage of her own, but she's still alive to link up with her team as Thermite.
Shucks, unfortunately whipping a whole bunch of shots. Interestingly, we don't see Jamin playing this maneuver too often. This is a really dangerous spot, and luckily for him, they didn't bring a buck on the attacking side because any kind of vertical play would shut down what Jamin has immediately. But with that being said, no vertical play really seemingly in effect, it seems, from Cal's side. It's going to be SDCU still holding onto the side pretty well, despite not having a Maestro. But all things considered, even then, the attacker's still completely fine, and we do see some of that vertical play coming out after all, but shucks, being taken down by that AUG. Now 50 seconds left, time is burning away slowly but surely, and losing out on the Maestro over the Zofia. I'd much rather lose Zofia than Maestro. You lose out on those evil eyes and that Alda, but it is what it is.
Yeah, 35 seconds left on the board now, and the attackers are looking a lot more healthy. Legion might be taken by surprise from behind if he's distracted by blue or main. Oh, Zofia gonna Sledge with the SMG-11 connecting now. The Guman's gonna go off, but shots are not gonna be found. 4v2, and they have Arsenal in their hands as there's only one defender left alone to make the stand, and unfortunately, the very 9 will ring true. Habana and Rao will see things through to finish off this 7th round here in Church Arsenal. That's going to be Rao taking it for Cal.
It seems that the dynamic is shifting around right now. The very first 2 times we had seen Church win completely to SDU, but then the second 2 was a defensive win for Cal, and now we're seeing an attacking win for Cal right after. All things considered, it seems like they've adapted around this site completely, and generally finding the kind of mantra or just ways of how they want to approach this.
Yep, and now we're going back down Church and Arsenal. We are going to see SDSU try it yet again. You know, they can't go back upstairs just yet, however much they might want to. They've already won, or no, excuse me, they won. I'm looking at my notes and I'm getting a bit confused, but ignore me as I try to think and peruse. Obviously, we got to see how SDSU can change things here on this Arsenal. They tried to finish things up, but unfortunately, the Legion, I think it came down to that Legion kill. If he had managed to secure the blue line before the second kill him, that would have changed the course of the round. But he was trying to watch too many angles and just got exposed. Hopefully, this defense can find some composure to work together a little bit and, you know, hold the site a little bit better. It came down to time, and if they can hide a little bit more, they don't have to take gunfights if they let the clock do the talking for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're completely right, but what I'm most curious about is why are you going to Church again? It's the second round in the second half. We have not seen CCTV yet. It's not like Cal isn't privy to your tricks. We don't see the Cali this time either. Again, we have the same exact lineup as before, but the main difference is instead of the Zofia pick, we actually have Shucks on the Blackbeard, which, okay, all right. Now, keep in mind, it seems to be a bit of a collegiate Rainbow Six trend where we see Blackbeard being played a lot more often than not for a lot of the matchups, and in fact, the Blackbeard worked out really well in the matchup we had yesterday. So, you know what? I'm not going to hold it past Shucks when to make some magic happen. But those 2 shields.
I got this! See you on the other side.
Yeah, now they're moving forward. The Blackbeard going to be the change that I think might put Cal on the top, especially if he can use those hatches to his advantage. Dark Eagle alone defending blue right now, but he has his utility to rely on right now.
Generator right now held by Dark Eagle, looking around very pensively, looking for that possible angle going down from the ladder, but he has 2 different places to worry about right now, and he's looking at the wrong angle. He must be aware that the big, bulky Blackbeard is waiting at the landing of the stairs just in front of him, with only a giant piece of equipment blocking his way, but the rotate hole comes in from behind, allowing Dark Eagle to rotate back to safety.
Attackers have
Now, of
located
course,
a
with
bomb.
that being said, it's going to be a lot more land advantage or disadvantage, or advantage once more going back to Cal's favor. That's going to be blue, completely uncontested right now, and there are a few feet, but no, the Blackbeard doesn't notice the feet. That's going to be a big issue. It looks like Blackbeard isn't too keen on finding out where any feet are. He's not Jackal right now, but there we go. He makes up for it, and Cashman goes down. Usually finding V is Cashman's job with that Jackal, but no, not going to happen this time. Geo finding Sandy as well. That's going to be the C4. Not going to connect, but Jamin will connect with the AUG, taking down Shucks. That's going to be the first attacker going down, but you've already lost out on 2 of the defenders. Cashman once again on that Maestro, not having a good game on this defense. Going to be taken down. DBNO from GeoTheo is going to be occurring as well from Jamin, but not able to secure the kill. It's going to be essentially a 3v3 right now. 50 seconds left, and both teams are trying to figure out how to end this stall. And the stall gets broken, the seal is reduced to ashes. Aquatic Lettuce finding Killer Rhino once more, and that's going to be your Legion completely gone. Now the DBNO is going to be crawling back into a bloody scour. It's going to be GeoTheo, again, almost running out of time. Defensive diffuser going down, and no one's there to defend it because the most of them are dead or not watching the angles. Round gets taken down next, and it's down to Brandon, the last one alive, holding onto that diffuser, trying to make something apparently happen out of nothing. But will it be successful? Not too sure. A 1v1, and Jamin with a triple kill into the defuse. Beautiful work overall. Just not really having the angles and having all the intel on his side. It's going to be Jamin again, pulling a miraculous play out of his magic endless hat of rabbits and bringing SDSU another point on the board. It's going to be, in fact, their first one in the second half.
Indeed, and now we're all tied up again. This is looking a lot like map 4, or not map 4, map 1. We have it tied up all round 4 to 4. And now we're going into round 3, finally going to CCV. I'm a little bit worried right now because, going back and forth is fine all about, but it just means at the end of the day, you and your opponent are neck and neck. Someone has to get lucky enough to get that save, or at least to continue the momentum beyond what your opponent can do. It's just something that it's just a question of who will be burnt out first. The teams, who are you going to see burnt out first, Cali or San Diego? And neither team wants to be that right now. They're giving it their all, and it's admirable, but someone has to lose at the end of the day.
Absolutely, and so far, miraculously, we haven't really seen too much burnout yet. Now, keep in mind, this is only map 2 of potentially 3 between Cal and SDSU. So it's much more important right now for Cal to win these next 3 rounds if they don't want to go to map 3 and potentially suffer the burnout like we mentioned. But we are going to CCTV this time. It's the first time we've seen it in the second half, and this is the first time we've actually seen SDSU defend it as well. I'm curious to see what differences they can bring out. Shady this time kind of pulling a book out of, or page out of Sable's book, bringing out the Rook this time, whereas before we actually had seen Shucks play the similar dark role. Now I'm sure we'll be seeing some interesting, very, very eventful opening plays coming out from the Rook. It's just a matter of seeing what he's going to do and where he's going to do it from. But no, it looks like he's going to play a much more passive role compared to what we've seen from other MP5 wielding Rooks. He's going to be playing in Raptors, waiting for that side window on site possibly to open up, or waiting for any tricks to happen.
For that, we do have sightlines opening on the garage, while we have the Zofia opening one for herself and Havana opening another further to the south. And Rook's just going to be careful, trying to keep things some shady as he looks around for some kills to make his KD a plenty.
You are the rhyme master. I don't know how you do it. Where were you when I was in 11th grade struggling to write essays?
That frag coming out. I think that was frag. Tapping it down, Killer Rhino, and he's just letting it crawl away. Lettuce picking up another one off screen, picking up the Wamai, so that's going to leave it at a 5.
It's a dangerous position for SDSU to be in right now. The Rook is holding on the garage, but he's losing leverage very quickly. Multiple holes that he's not aware of, and actually people on side garage as well. Aquana getting that double kill off camera. It's really beautiful work taking care of so many different people. Killer Rhino was DBNO, but he was revived back up. At this point, it may very well not make a difference. A lot of leverage has been lost, and B-site has been completely taken over by the attackers while that diffuser goes down. Killer Rhino tries to find a pop shot, but unfortunately it's not going to work out. Shucks taking him down, and Dark Eagle finds a kill, the first one going to the attackers, and it's going to be just surrounded by bullets and cavalry. Going to be winning another round, bringing them 5-4 right now. Only one round potentially away to bring it to match point, and then that could potentially snowball as well into the 2-0 that we may very well see. But not all is lost right now. It was kind of a poor decision to not reinforce garage, and I don't believe the Rook really brought too much to the table either. You could argue that maybe having Killer Rhino with the Rook plate on did save his life from that frag grenade, bringing him automatically into the DBO state. But even then, did it really make too much of a difference overall? Wouldn't it have been better to bring the Doc, DJ?
I honestly think the Doc would have been a little bit better, but the problem is you have to use that actively. And if we looked at what happened to the MP5 wielder that round, we see him get shot out by the thermite. He looks and tries to find the shot, but he doesn't have the cover that he needs. He didn't drop prone, and either way, he would have had no chance to use the stems. That, at the very most, that I would think is maybe, just maybe, he would have been able to stem some of his teammates before going down, but I think that would have just endangered him even more somehow, at least given how
Attackers
the
need to
execute went
locate and
out from the
defuse as
attack.
many bombs as they can.
Now, we do have a clash being in play once again. If you were watching earlier, you do know that Raul, so many rounds ago, did bring the clash as well, and it worked really effectively on Church. However, this time we're on CCTV, and it's a completely different team wielding the clash. Cashman, previously the top fragger for SDSU's side on Oregon, no longer in that position, instead taking a much more reserved role. And it makes sense then to bring the clash, but is this really the site to do so? I don't know, DJ. I think this might not be the best decision.
Honestly, I'm not against this. It depends on how and where they have Clashman playing.
Attackers
There
must
we go. That's a
locate
little
and
bit of
defuse a
wordplay
bomb.
for you. But depending on where you have the Clash set up, you know, that could prove something that could slow the push. We saw in the late game, even though they were losing defenders, they still had the chance at retaking it. But the flank coming out and everything, you know, the shield being mobile cover from Clash will provide exactly what they need on denying the attackers the ground, even if they open up all.
And speaking of those breaches,
Attackers
we did
have
see the
located a
same
bomb.
exact upper right-hand corner wall opened up last round. This really put a lot of pressure onto Shady, who was previously the Rook, but instead now opting for the Jaeger pick. This isn't the worst decision in the world, having the rifle instead of no ACOG and be holding the bottom of rafters. It's a good decision, but once again, being clamped up and closed out completely. The Jaeger's unable to move. They know exactly where he's at. He moves a little bit to the right, dead. A little bit to the left, dead. Already pointing into the wrong direction without even really moving. He's seemingly dead already. And as we say that to me, Shucks, taking down Shady, guess what? He's dead.
I think the amount of times
Bomb
you said
located
dead
by
right
attackers.
there, that, you know, that's a lot of times. But, you know, the op thing briefly matched the scoreboard 5v4, but then we're going to see it drop to 3v4 as Jamin gets a double kill. However, the defense is still going down, so he's going to cover against him. How the C4 goes off denies the plant, but Quinn finds another kill to stop the advance.
SDSU having one last round. What just happened to Shucks? It looks like he was in mid-vault and the clash kind of put them in an interesting position, but the clash shield, the electricity shocking too much through the brain of that Zofia, gonna collapse on the ground, never to wake back up. It's gonna be a minute left on the clock, and it's gonna be down to just Ral trying to do something. I mean, you are the Hibana, you don't have any of your ex-Carios left. You really don't have much option other than maybe take the L. But even then, you don't want to give up potentially bringing to match point, and going up Eastern Stairs might be your only viable option. But Cashman right now, the monster that he is, the giant wall of electricity, trying to figure out where this final attack is going to take place. Watching the rotate from rafters to B is going to be a prime position to possibly lock it all out. But no, finding the Valkyrie, that's going to alert the rest of the defenders where this attack's going to take place. And now realizing there's one to the immediate left, it's going to be Killer finding that final kill on Terrell. And SDSU brings it to an even, once more, 5-5.
I gotta say, watching that Hibana creep in and just being able to see on the spectator cam every single defending operator not looking her way. Valkyrie, she got lucky, but not being able to see that mute herself, not having any drones or any intel for her to use, that definitely changed the course of the round. If she had been able to drone ahead or even just see the positioning from afar, that could have changed everything. But unfortunately, she'll have to walk away with only picking up one more kill. She and her team will have to see what they can do coming out, and we're gonna see Arsenal yet again, I believe. Let me check my notes real quick. Arsenal right now on the second half, we see a 50-50 split.
You're absolutely right. And it's a tie in multiple ways right now. It's like multi-leveled. It's 5-5, and it's, well, I guess technically 5-0-5-0 for who will win not only this round in this second map, but
Attackers need to
also who's
locate
going to
and
win
defuse as
overall
many
for
bombs as they
defending
can.
or winning in charge.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Cal, it seems that San Diego is deciding that Clash is going to be their kryptonite. I'm fairly certain that's going to work pretty well for San Diego. You know, Clash is just a wall of electricity, like you were saying. At the end of the day, unless you have Clash just simply working the other way, you know, odds are Clash is just going to be a thorn in the side of the attackers.
Now, it's not often that we see the Clash Shield get a kill either, but it was a nice little bonus for last
10
round.
seconds left.
It was a nice little bonus, and we are
5 seconds to
going
go.
to be seeing the attackers going for the pretty much the same exact comp again.
Attackers are moving out
Nothing
to
really too
locate a bomb
crazy.
and
We do
defuse
see
it.
Aquatic Lettuce with the 11 and 8 Sledge, which historically so far between these two, Sledge has not had a good game.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm a little bit worried for the defenders, however. At the end of that prep phase, almost all of the special utility, all 3 alibis, all 3 ADSs, all 4 mute jammers were still in the hands of the defense. Even the my gadgets that he had at the time, I believe he had all of them in his hand. And so a rush strategy, which we're seeing from Lettuce, doing half damage to alibi array, that's gonna put a little bit more strength onto him as just pushing forward, trying to find something, and alibis just taking out left and right. Like the prep phase not working out quite as efficiently as planned, but just wreaking havoc on the ceiling above.
A lot of pent-up anger coming out from Aquatic, but he's letting it go in a very healthy manner. Running down the main stairs, taking a few pop shots off of Shady. Maybe not so good, but a less violent option, ripping up the floorboards of the kitchen. Whatever works to help vent off your frustrations, but at the very least, doing a pretty good job with the vertical play as well. It's gonna be the Cash Clash, though. The Cash Clash down below in Moto Hatch, blocking the way of the church and not going to allow any kind of rush again. Now, I'm wondering what will happen when the sledgehammer gets a little too close to the Clash Shield, and if it's going to happen. Speaking of which, it looks like one might be at the bottom of the stairs right now. I believe it might be either Shucks or Aquatic. Not entirely sure who, but it's going to be that sledgehammer. Are we going to see it? No, the Iron Shield's in the way. But the EMP comes down, not 1, but 2, and that's going to be the C4 attempting to come down, but it only destroys their own equipment. The Iron Shield going down, but Shady finds a kill onto Ral, and that's going to be the Hibana gone. With those Carrios scouts, we're
Yeah, with the hatches open in the breach in church now, it becomes a question of how are you going to split this? So you have half of them in Arsenal and half of them trying to guard church from church in blue. Clash is going to be the biggest problem that you'll have to deal with. So they might have to just rotate around to Arsenal and keep Clash distracted so she can't rotate over there. Of course, we have Brandon outside of that church breach with the diffuser, so Arsenal's going to be a little bit hard for him to shimmy on 2. And we see Sledge taking up a kill, taking up 2 actually, and the third coming out from Brandon. Now the Sledge is still on the board. Dark Eagle having the only AR left, but we're going to see Jaeger fall and a kill picked up by the Clash. It's going to be a 1v3, and San Diego's host goes down, rests on Clash alone. She's not going to be able to find it out as Branix gets out the defuse in time to get the kill. Round 11 goes to Cal Esports.
fantastic work coming out from Cal overall, and keep in mind, we're now on match point. If Cal can bring this home, we will be saying goodbye for the night, and Cal will be walking home with a 2-0 win. But we could see overtime. We did see the first half of last map going into a 3-3, and we were in this similar 6-5 position last map as well. Now, of course, it did bring it to Cal going into winning that map, but this could be SDSU's chance of redemption this time, bring it to overtime. But this is the most important round of the match so far. It's going to determine whether or not we will extend the playtime a little bit more, or if Cal will be the victors of the night. Now, nothing crazy with the operator picks so far. We do see that Alibi returning once more, but I don't believe we saw the castle before.
I don't believe so. Yeah, I think maybe we saw it on one round bar. That I don't think we've seen it much more than that, if that at all.
I believe we saw it on the defense for Cal, but
Yeah, that's correct.
shockingly, pun intended, it's going to be going from the Clash to the Bandit. in the 6th pick. Maybe the clash
Defenders,
didn't
protect your
work as
bombs
well as
from
they had
being
hoped,
defused by
and they want
attackers.
to make sure to play as reserved as possible, going for known strategies that work. And they picked the bandit instead to lock up those walls. Oh no, my accounts are all getting banned.
You know, Keg, I told you, man, it's not worth it doing that invisibility glitch over protocol. But
Oh man, now you tell me.
now I tell you indeed. But match point on the board, and we'll just have to wait and see who's getting taken away, who's gonna have to stay mute. Killer Rhino seems
10 seconds
something
left
to do.
before insertion.
Now, interestingly, we are seeing a little bit more activity
seconds to go.
inside Dirt. It's looking like Dirt will pretty much just be neglected by
Attackers are
SDSU
moving out
this
to
round.
locate a bomb
Not
and
a whole
defuse
lot
it.
going to be going down whatsoever. It's going to be the castle barricade just completely locking away Dirt completely, and we're not going to see any of it this round, or at least it's going to be a little bit more of a hassle for the attackers to get there. Now, of course, Aquatic Lettuce could open it up easily because Dirt was not reinforced. It was just completely soft.
But the thing is, they could easily take advantage of that as well. And it's just, at this point, clearing out all of this utility. The reinforced patches are going to be the first to fall, and Cashman playing upstairs as the bandit. He does have that C4, and the drone is going to see him from below the shelves. He's going to take it out, but he knows that he's been found out. Buck's going to go up to see if he can tell him to just buck off.
Oh man, that was funny. I like that one. But all things considered, Cashman right now with the Sightless or Iron Sight NP7 holding into a very aggressive angle. Now, if he just turns a little bit to his left, he can potentially get a huge kill onto this Thermite through the wall. He's gonna drop down. This might alert the people inside stockroom that someone's nearby, but no, on the drones, he's not gonna hear it. And this could potentially be a really huge pick for him. But it's all about a matter of timing and waiting, because someone's very close by, and that's gonna be Sledge. No, Geo on the Thatcher, finding that bandit, saving the life of the Thermite, possibly without ever even. Now with a minute and a half left on the clock, it's gonna be Geo taking the brunt of the damage, but still having that man advantage. Now Shady, Jamin, Killer, and Dark Eagle all have to pull a rabbit out of a hat, because if they can't secure this round, if they can't even out the odds, we won't be seeing overtime tonight. And Shucks is waiting at the bottom of Bloom. The split push is in full effect, and Dark Eagle's in a very tight position, holding the backup generator.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, though, with the castle set up, they might be able to slow off the defense soon enough. And with that, the UMP is going to ring free, taking out Sledge, a full health attacker, taken off of the board, don't you see? And now the time is going to be crucial. 40 seconds left on the clock, and the defenders are just going to have to wait. They're just waiting for these attackers to play into their hand.
Now we are going to see Shucks move up a little bit more. It's going to be Dark Eagle going down again. The man advantage going back to the advantage of Cal Moore. The buff looking like it's going to be seemingly uncontested even more. It's going to be the DB&O going against Killer Rhino. One left alive, and it's going to be Cal finding it all. Bring it 2-0 for tonight. Rao ending it all with a double kill for him. Fantastic work, and that is going to be the set going to Calorie over SDSU.
Yep, with that, Aqua Lettuce is going to stand there right and proud as the MVP of that second map. 6,900 points and 13 kills to boot, 8 assists. Very well done, Mr. Lettuce.
I think the game overall can be summarized as a lack of refrags coming out from SDSU. They have such a fantastic first half every game, but then they just fall short only a little bit. And by a little bit, I really mean by 2 rounds, usually in the second half. It's regardless of either side that it happens, because we saw the reversal sides going on from last map, and it was still the same exact results.
Indeed, I think ultimately it comes down to these teams were very neck and neck. We see them be able to adapt and to trade utility fairly well, but at the end of every map, Cal Esports manages to not have burnout, but to carry the momentum and to carry forward as a team to push forward. Especially on this second map, San Diego could have easily gone to another site. They had a lot of trouble with Arsenal trying to hold up against the defenders or against the attacking team of Cal Esports. And while they did have some success, I don't think it was enough to warrant keep going down there for, let me check my notes real quick. They went down there for a grand total of 4 times in that second half of the map to defend. 4 times. They never touched master bedroom and gym. So ultimately, that could have changed things. We saw them go looking at yet again. We saw them lose 3 of those 4 basement rounds to Cal. 3 of the 4 basement rounds. Just put that in your mind right now. If they had gone somewhere else, we could have likely seen Map 3 come onto board. But unfortunately, unfortunately for San Diego, I should say, Cal Esports is going to win it out 7-5 on both maps, Oregon and Clubhouse. So with that, what were his thoughts, man? Coming out of this. I know I said mine, I really believe this should have gone to map 3, but looking at it, what do you see from your perspective?
From my perspective, I do think that overall, it was a battle of just Calorie able to get those refrags a lot more. There were instances where, of course, SDSU did get those.
And unfortunately, it looks like Keg's still having some internet problems after that tropical storm, so I'm going to take over for him real quick. And it looks like we have the interview lined up. Shady's all set. Right now, it's just me. Keg will be back with us shortly. But first of all, congratulations on your win in the round 16. And I gotta ask you, this is the first question I ask every single time. What were you thinking when you were going into this matchup against San Diego?
Honestly, the only thought on my mind is we're not going to cafe. We're gonna take that 2-0 dub.
All right. I admire that. That's honestly what I hear from most of me. Is like we're not going to go to map 3. We're going to win this. We got this. And looks like Keg's back now. He's got some of the better questions than I do, of course. So Keg, take it away if you would.
Well, I think from a little known secret from the production side of Rainbow Six, a lot of people also hope to never see Cafe as well. But, being in that echelon of the top 3 maps in the competitive scene, it is what it is. But overall, I do think you guys did a fantastic job overall. But I think the main question a lot of us in the audience have tonight is what's going on with the clash pick between both of your teams, especially yours, because it did come out on top ultimately.
Well, this goes back to the last game we played last week. We played what was it? Oregon again, and we had a big clash presence on our team because we've got those strats down to a T. And so this time they didn't want to have it, but they tried it out too. Clash is really underrated in my opinion. She can really slow down pushes. She can slow down plants. So yeah, we just capitalized on that.
Now, DJ did bring up a very good point during the cast, where we do see a lot more YouTubers kind of utilizing Clash in unorthodox ways, kind of showing some sorts of potential, but more in a less competitive atmosphere. Do you think your Clash is a whole different realm, I guess, to say, than those YouTubers? Would you say it's almost like a different character?
I mean, it's all really similar. Like to play Clash effectively, not only do you have to know where they're pushing, you have to know where to sit to not get shot in the back, but you also have to be able to do the 180 trick to be able to shoot. You got to get that shield on your back out, and you got to get your gun out and be able to shoot. So I think it is pretty similar, but there are some competitive aspects that you don't see in casual with Clash.
Very nice. And that's a really insightful answer. I haven't really thought about that too much. But I think my last question for the night is between you guys and SDSU, it was really neck and neck for a long time. To recap a little bit, we did see map 1 go into the second half at a 3-3 scoreline, and map 2 as well going 3-3, regardless of which sides both of your teams were on. What do you personally think really brought Calorie just that small step beyond over SDSU in that second map?
I think we were able to learn all their tactics pretty fast by overtime. Like as you said, by that 3-3 time, we knew exactly what they do: attack, defense, and then we just played to counter that. So specifically on club, we noticed every single round of defense they had 0 roam presence. So we didn't even bother droning because at that point we just see there's no point. It's just a waste of time. So we just take map presence, and then that's just free. Gives us more time to drone out the site carefully, find all of them individually, and take our ones.
Now, I do have a follow-up question because that was a really interesting answer. Now, there was a small segment in the second half of this last map where SDSU did win 3 rounds in a row. This was the only time between any of the games where we saw any team win those 3 rounds in a row, and that was the second church round going into the two attacking CCTV rounds. Now you say you guys figured them out, but why did this string of attacks happen in their favor?
That specifically, we had to talk about this. We had a really, I don't want to say really poor execute, but we did have some issues. We didn't really have a roam. We weren't watching for the C4. Uh, yeah, we rushed into it a little bit. We didn't just make sure we didn't take rafters properly. We didn't have below. We didn't have someone on red. We just had someone run in from breach, go straight for that plan. That's really really risky if you don't have the proper presence.
Well, it seems like that talk went down really well because after that stretch of 3 wins, that was kind of the final hurrah that SDSU had for the night. And from then on, Calgary just went on to win flawlessly for the last 2 rounds. But Shady or Shucks, thank you once again for coming on and representing your team. I'm sure it's not the last time we're going to interview you guys. You were fantastic, and your team was fantastic in winning that 2-0 tonight.
Yeah, appreciate it. We'll hope to see you again in the finals.
I hope so too. But take care and have a wonderful night. You guys all deserve a beautiful rest. And that will be, oh, and it looks like Cal will be playing UTSA tomorrow. I hope you were excited for that as well.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure we might possibly see you then. But thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I hope you enjoyed Collegiate Rainbow Six in the Summer League tonight. This was round number 16. We've had 15 more before this, and who knows, maybe get down the line, we'll have another 16 to go. My name has been Keglenek. You can find me on Twitter at Keglenek, KEGLUNNEQ. And DJ, do you want to say yours, or should I say it for you?
Just DJ Dextrose on Twitter. And of course, give Collegiate R6 a follow or hop onto the server to get the announcements on everything going on for our streams and for our events. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you and have a good night.
You